careful, Max Domi. Max, you pissed off the wrong people.
Yeah, Jonah Gadjevich is going to come after you now.
Dirty Domi. Another dirty Domi in a long lineage of dirty Domis. It's all they do is dirty Domi. It's all they do. And so, of course, what are they going to do? Get Barkov's head. Dirty Domi. Roy, how mad are you that Ty Domi many years ago had a romantic night and spawned this devil boy?
Not happy. That was a dirty hit. He probably won't get suspended for it, but I've heard somebody say that if it was the Panthers on the other end,
he won't get suspended?
No, he's not going to get suspended for that. No.
Man, that's kind of textbook. I would anticipate a suspension. We'll see. I think Ekman Larsson's going to get away with his hit. That's unfortunate on Rodriguez. But that's it. There's so many examples as to why that is one of the more dangerous hits in the sport. It's not like Hagel. And look, what Ekblad did to Hagel was really bad and headhunting. But like that is, you're risking paralysis with a hit like that. That's why they're trying to eliminate that type of hit from the game. Your head goes into the boards with no opportunity to brace yourself. That is a very, very dangerous play. So I do think that the league might actually do something about this.
And Dmitry Kulikov's chicken wing on the back of Mitch Marner's head, that might get looked at.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to get suspended. And that's also not the worst thing in the world. He's been pretty undisciplined this series, and he hasn't exactly been playing his best hockey, though he was on the ice for the game winner in Game 3.
I don't know, Chris, whether it's just you and me, because it's early. It's 8:56 in the morning, okay? But I think I saw sweep across your cherubic face, pink from a weekend of whatever you did calorically. I feel like when he said chicken wing, you and I are just sort of swept up, and that doesn't even sound bad. You said give him a chicken wing as if it was a bad thing. I don't have any pejoratives or negative connotations with chicken wing. If you give me a chicken wing, thank you. There are no bad chicken wings.
Every time.
You're not a real hooper. That's why. You know that in hoops, you get a chicken wing to somebody's elbow. So get in the
down the hatch every time when I get a chicken wing.
See, this is the thing. This is the difference between the thin people and the fat people in the room. I think you said chicken wings, and Chris and I just got hungry. I'm not even kidding. I haven't seen that smile in weeks, and I don't know why it's called a chicken wing. Is it just stupid?
Elbow.
Is it just because
it looks like a chicken?
Yeah, it looks like a chicken wing.
So it's
It's like a flat instead of a drum. You know?
There's a bow that you can like really throw, and then there's like the little chicken wing that you tuck out, that you tuck out with some force. So you're trying to be sly about it, and I think that's a chicken wing.
Okay, but
I go drums only. I know people feel some kind of way about it. Some people
I like a
are
mix.
just let fate be
the
decider there. But I like a good drum. I'm sorry. I know that makes me maybe a little bit basic, but I go drums only. It's only a $2 upcharge at Hole in the Wall.
The problem with what Roy did there is that in hockey, we're in the second round, man. This is going to be fun. Best of 3 here. And the champs, when they're down, they do that a lot, where they never lose the third period. If they're up in the second period, listen to this stat. If they're up in the second period, that's 25 straight playoff wins. Like, they bury you. They strangle you. They're better at the big time than anyone else is. And so to see you guys buoyant when all I've heard for the last 4 years, if you tell me what are the criticized things on this team, it's Bobrovsky, it's Verhaeghe. You guys have gone after Ekblad, and you have gone after Barkov.
Yeah, Barkov, like a couple of years ago, would kind of go missing during these playoffs.
The idea that the Panthers have a goalie who is now feared and can do that in that game, where it's like, 21 of the first 25 shots. There will be no problems here today, even if it's 1-0. It's the way it'll stay.
No, Bobrovsky was good last night, but his defense in front of him was exceptional.
Well, but, I mean, they just took 21 of the first 25 shots. Bobrovsky, what are they called? High-danger shots?
High-danger chances.
There were 7 of them. There were 7 of them on Bobrovsky. So
nasty little deflections, too, that are really difficult for a goalie to stop, as we saw Joseph Woll in Game 3.
There have been only a couple of times in my history in South Florida where there's been a thing like this that I know is champion excellent and can be for years. It's University of Miami football all the time, and it's LeBron, Wade, and Bosch. Like, that's about it. This thing is excellent, and it'll strangle you. Stop that.
Walking, just too sharp with the prize. White girls let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pond. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. We came for war, man, forget my peace. You take the west, I'll take on the east. I'ma put them in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys, not so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize, white girls, let it tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pond, if you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that, stop that, stop that.
Billy, I'm going to need your help here because I do not like the energy that has just arrived in the room. A careening Zaslow complaining about everything from traffic to employees who have days off around here.
That's not true.
You said Frankie's not available.
No, and as a result, I was stuck downstairs. I didn't know how to get up. That's all.
Okay, so 10 minutes late Zaslow is, and he doesn't want to be late today because he's got the best team, and it's so rare that you get to feel the feeling of, I know I've got the best team. The Panthers might lose. They might lose, and hockey's funny, and it's best of 3, and they're 2 on the road. So maybe it changes because Toronto's crazy right now. It's an insane place. I wouldn't want to go back there, but if I was going back there, what I'd want to go back there is with the team in the sport that kicks your ass in the third period more than any other team. I can do the math on it. I can show you it. Like, no one is better than them in the third, and they lost 1 game in this series in the third, and you will be lucky to do that again to them because this is where they're at their best. It's empirical. It's not made up. It's not like, oh, they're clutch. No, they strangle you late, and they're deeper than ever, and Mike's going to have to eat it on Marchand.
I am mad at you, man. I am not pleased with you. You should be very, very happy. You should be very pleased with what we've seen so far this series at a 63. And the way that you're piling on Brad Marchand, if everybody else in that room is good with him, how are you not okay with him? You're not in the room. Yeah, you. Don't point at yourself like you don't know I'm talking to you. What's the matter with you?
I'm happy he got a deflected winner in Game 3. He's been one of the more consistent players for the Florida Panthers this postseason. Probably their best player, although he was on the worst line last night.
Why
Probably
can't you
their
enjoy
best.
it?
Excuse me. Let me finish.
He's talking about Brad Marchand like he's Mike Marchand. Jeez.
So
finish. I'm
it's about time somebody said that.
I'm giving the devil his due quite literally. Like, he's been probably the best forward for Florida this series, and he's a gigantic piece of crap.
But it's like you're mad if he does well.
You know what? I'm being attacked right now, and I'm the last real Panther fan.
Do you want the Panthers to win?
What? Yeah, I love the Panthers. I'm the only person here, apparently, who does love the Panthers because you guys are willing to just overlook atrocities. And that's quite simply put, they're called atrocities because he's committed atrocities against this franchise. He will never be one of us. I don't care how many winners that he nets. I really don't. In fact,
what do you mean? Look at Luongo. Look at behind you, Luongo.
That's all right.
Luongo's celebrating a Marchand goal. Like, if he's okay with it, why aren't you?
I went to the game with Chris Cody. And we were jubilant that Florida had won again, deflected goal. I didn't really see who hit it. And then I saw I was hearing the chatter in the arena, and I had to settle him down. I'm like, look, we won. Bad news is Marchand scored.
Yeah, but
temper it.
That everything that just came out of your mouth right now is a vomit. You vomited all over that microphone.
I'm very happy we won. I'm very happy we won. And I told you, don't expect that. If there is one franchise in the history of sports you do not expect to TCB, wow, it's Toronto.
We'll get back to you two in a second. First, breaking NBA news. Giannis Antetokounmpo is open to everything. Everybody dance in the streets. You can get your team real good, real fast. Just get one guy and you know you'll be good.
Photoshop season, baby. I've had Giannis in a Heat jersey Photoshop for so long.
When are you guys going to understand the NBA is the transfer portal? Like, you just every offseason say, like, I don't want to be here anymore. And they're like, okay. And then they just re-sign you and you're back on your team. Giannis is not coming to Miami. I will go out on a line and say, he on a limb. He's not coming to Miami. You think he's coming to Miami? Zaz, do you think he's coming to Miami? You think that Pat Riley's going to get this done? He's going to come to Miami? You think Kevin Durant's going to come to Miami also? Is that what you think is going to happen?
Both of them?
Pat Riley says you're going to make some
Zazzle,
changes.
he's talking to you.
Do you think that's going to happen?
I'm trying to get in a
Is that
word
what you think's
here.
going to happen?
Every time I'm trying to take a breath, it's a new player he's throwing at
I'm just
me
asking the questions because Pat Riley was up there and he said we're not going to run it back. Do you think they're going to run it back? I think they're going to run it back, not by choice. They can't run it back. By necessity. They're going to run it back. You think he's coming here? He's not coming here. Is he coming here?
Is it my turn?
Giannis going to come here? Kevin Durant going to come here? They're not coming here, are they?
They're not.
You know what I think is the interesting thing, though? Like, tonight's the draft lottery. The team that gets the number 1 overall pick, like, do you just call up Milwaukee and you're like, hey, how about it?
I love that you went to another transaction instead of the one we were already in, instead of addressing what was right in your face.
Well, he wasn't letting me.
No,
But
wait.
do you do it, Dan? Do you do
wait,
that?
Wait.
Do you do that?
He wasn't
Take the call?
letting me. He wasn't. Look, right there, you have your 2-time NBA broadcasting champion, Jonathan Zaslow. Billy here and Mike are naysayers. They are people who are saying bad things about the Heat. Yeah. I got to look Pat Riley.
We're speaking truths.
We
have been for. Stop gaslighting us. We've been right for 2.5 years.
And you're just going to eat it and say they didn't let me? Like, you either fit in or fit out, Zaslow.
An unfair review, by the way, to jump on him for going one transaction over when you started with Giannis instead of addressing the dog and pony show we saw on Friday.
And he was on time also, for the record.
Fit in or fit out. They have challenged your Heat. They're ready. Look, man, there's blood in the water.
We haven't challenged the Heat. The Eastern Conference has.
There's blood in the water. Kendrick Perkins says, Pat Riley, get him out. Stephen A. Smith, Pat Riley, get him out. Game has passed him by. Today's players are saying it out loud. Mike Ryan and Billy Gill are here saying, after 15 years of Heat basketball, that they weren't satisfied with his apology, the 80-year-old man's apology last week.
Which apology?
There was no apology.
Where was the apology? He didn't apologize. He didn't apologize. He just gave us the same lines.
He said,
that
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize. He apologized the same way that Stugotz does.
He failed the city, failed the franchise.
Okay, you mentioned that.
God, they were in the finals 2 years ago.
Yes, and since then, he has failed the city, failed the franchise.
I do not think that the Heat are going to get Giannis because of what I just said. The team that gets the number 1 overall pick tonight, you could say they have the driver. They're in the driver's seat for Giannis if he is open to everything. If you're Milwaukee.
You think Giannis is going to go to Utah, brother?
Well, I don't know who's going to get that number 1 overall pick.
Come
How do you
on.
know?
Do
you know who's getting that pick tonight?
I know that even if Utah gets 2 number 1 picks tonight, he's not going to Utah.
He's not open to anything.
What if San Antonio gets the number 1 overall pick tonight?
That's a different discussion. But he ain't going to Utah if they get the number 1 pick.
By the way, if San Antonio gets the number 1 pick, the league is rigged.
Well, I mean, come on.
That's a report?
We've known that for a while.
I'm putting my name on that one.
We've known that the league is rigged for a while.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. I'm pretty sure that Jorge Sedano one time asked David Stern that on the air, just like the way you did then, and Stern severed his head and threw it into the bushes. Sedano ran away as scared as I've ever seen a Cuban person.
That was a real leader back then. I do miss David Stern.
Okay, so you're calling things rigged, but I want this put on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. All one word. He ain't going back to Utah, brother. I'm sorry. Giannis ain't going back to Utah,
You
brother.
want to make $1 million bet right now?
No,
I'll make $1 million bet
not,
with you right now. Giannis Antetokounmpo is not playing for Utah
Make it
next.
$2 million and I'm in.
$2 million bet. Giannis Antetokounmpo is not playing for the Utah Jazz. Even money both ways. You got Utah.
Ever or next year?
Next year. His next move is not Utah.
Tell DraftKings to start allowing us to make bets like this in person, on air, live, where we raise the stakes.
$3
on
million
things
and I'm
like
in.
this.
$3 million plus 100 odds both ways.
Giannis is open for business. That's what's breaking into basketball playoffs and hockey playoffs. Zazo, I really am though. If you're going to sit in that seat, okay, and you're going to come late. And you're going to get stuck in the lobby.
Frazzled.
And you're not going to be ready. I know you're a big ESPN radio star and everything, okay? But we've been doing this for a while. And you're not going to arrive here ready. What's going to happen is you're going to get eaten up by Billy and Mike.
No. He wasn't late, by the way. He was as soon as that open stopped, he was there. Shadow show. That's another
I'm just
shadow
saying,
show. You come in, you come out.
Like in the history of South Florida radio producers, you three specifically, are big personalities, and Zaslow just backed down and didn't bark around the Heat.
I'm ashamed with the way that the morning has started for me. I'm ashamed that I walked in here late.
Well, you revealed to everyone that you're no longer a Panther fan because you're happy for Brad Marchand's success, but it's okay. You can ride the coattails of this franchise, and us real fans.
I'm so aggravated with you. I really am, because we're in a chat and you constantly you crap on Marchand, and I was in the same spot as you. I didn't like the trade when it happened. But if those guys in the room, you say he's committed atrocities.
Yes.
He hasn't committed atrocity to you.
Yes, he did.
He committed
I love
atrocities
Sam
to the
Bennett like
guys
a son.
in that room. Sam, they're like best friends now.
No.
If those
Going for
guys
the
in that
motions.
room are good with him, what does it give you any right to not be good with him?
Sorry,
then?
man. I love
Who
the
cares
Crest.
your opinion then?
Sorry, I love the Crest more than you do.
No, you're saying you love the Crest more than Barkov does.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
All right, well, that's
what
a
I'm
thing
saying.
to say.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a thing to say.
Barkov's also a little too close to the
That's a thing to
situation.
say.
That's
if
right.
we're going to be
Thank you
honest
for
with you.
supporting me.
We need to kind of see how this whole thing shakes out in the end, because this could be like a double agent situation.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I mean, we're tied 2-2 in the second round. Let's slow our roll, okay? We were better off last year. Were we not? Were we not?
We were, yes.
Got back to our game last night. At really last 4 periods.
That's the first time that the Panthers have looked like the Panthers in this series, and that was very encouraging.
Disagree. Second period of game 3.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry.
That's
Correction.
what it
yes,
is.
no,
Series flipped.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yes, but that entire game was Florida's best effort in quite some time. I'm happy 63 got going. That's cool.
Anyone
Do that
but him,
more.
You know,
That's biz.
Some are saying
anyone
the
but
series
him,
hasn't
you know?
started yet.
It hasn't.
The biz sound is my favorite of the weekend. Just him just reacting to the goal.
anyone but him. You know,
It's kind of so sad.
I think I said that directly to you.
oh,
Game
this
3.
guy was jumping for joy.
No.
Marchand had this guy
Jumping
jumping
for
joy.
Betrayal.
No, I was jumping because Chris was jumping, and I was jumping with him. I'm like, hey, listen, settle down. Marchand was the one that hit the puck, and people are going to attribute this goal to him, even though it took a nasty deflection, and he didn't actually do anything except put it on net.
So you just were jumping to stay with
Yes,
him.
I was
trying to
staying
stop you,
with you
yeah.
and stabilize you and realize, hey, don't over celebrate here because what you're doing is actually an affront to this Florida Panthers franchise.
I very proudly bought my son a Marchand jersey shirt last
Oh,
night.
you're
Oh,
the worst.
child abuse.
You're the worst.
Yeah, I was proud to
You're an
buy it
awful
for
person.
him.
You're gonna be so regretful.
I'm calling
of this
DCF
purchase.
on you right now.
You know what? I'm gonna take it a step further. I love watching him play in that Panther jersey.
Bet you cheer for Zoe too. Bet you forgave Zoe the first second you could.
Of course I did. Right when he checked in that game,
You're
he
a
blocked
chump.
the shot immediately.
You're a chump.
Of course I cheered
You're a
for
chump.
him.
You're a chump. You put individuals ahead of the franchise, and I just don't do that. I'm about the name in the front, not the name in the back.
God. Yeah, you really should be embarrassed with yourself. You're embarrassing yourself in front of everybody.
I'm sorry, my team's tied 2-2.
in front of
They climb-
Billy
they
and
climb-
in front of Tony.
Why?
And in
I'm-
front of Chris. Hey, Roy, I didn't see you there, man. What's
Hey,
up, man?
Zaz. Yeah,
and in
this
front of
camera's
Roy,
blocking me.
too.
I think now the debate is pretty much settled. No one loves this franchise more than me. Wow. No one.
Put it on the poll. Does Mike care about the Panthers more than Barkov? Because he's lost his mind, and we're in the second round.
I
What
care
I'm
about them
telling
more
you,
than the
you
late
guys
H
don't
wing.
pace yourself. You guys don't pace yourself, and this is what happens.
I feel pretty calm.
Look, I'm on to you.
I'm calm.
No, I'm on to you.
What?
This is what you do.
What do I do?
I'll tell
Root
you.
for my Panthers?
No, this is what you do publicly all the time because you're an action junkie and it's annoying, okay? It's annoying. You choose before we start on these things. You choose some side to take that will raise the stakes on everything and put you in a position to look bad. And when you look bad, because Marchand scores a bunch of goals and the Panthers win, you get to feel good even though you're publicly embarrassed because who cares that you were wrong? They're just sports opinions.
Why can't you love the way he's playing, which would inevitably infuriate Boston Bruin fans that you are enjoying Brad Marchand?
Let me sidebar real quick with my ally over here.
Ally.
They're doing something. I don't know what they're doing. Yeah, they're playing. If they think that Barkov's going to finish his career as a Panther, they're out of their minds. Yeah. He's a life.
It really is.
We're
a
not
thing-
falling for your tricks.
It really is a thing to say that he cares more about the Panthers than Barkov.
Well,
I mean, clearly I do.
Barkov cares about the money. Let's be honest. If another team was paying him, he'd be happy to play for that team. Let's not get that twisted right now. Mike is cheering for the Panthers, not just for free, at a cost.
Look, I mean, you want to break it down. Barkov and myself, first job out of high school, both for the Florida Panthers.
Boom.
So, I mean,
you're
he
equals.
doesn't have me there.
This Marchand take makes Bruin fans happy. How do you feel about that? Yeah.
What was that? Was that a fine? Was that Siri? Was that Siri?
This is Zaslo's phone.
Was that Siri?
Zaslo, I got to kick you out of
he's
here.
right.
I just got
I'm
here.
sorry.
It's not his fault
I'm
Frankie
sorry.
wasn't here.
Did someone say
No,
Siri?
get out of here. Hold on a second. Just get out of here.
Thank you.
minor penalty, 2 minutes, stumbling.
Interference.
Zaslow,
You guys deflected that like a Brad
I
Marchand
don't, I don't
shot.
care how big shot you're becoming at ESPN and ESPN Radio. Stay on your game, buddy. You can't just come in here sloppy and lazy and careening with all your electronics. We do a professional thing around here. If you want to be around here with us at Metal Lark, shape up.
So now that he's out of the way, you want to address the dog and pony show we saw Friday?
No, hold on a second. I will address that in a moment because I don't want to move too far away from the excellence of this franchise that's giving us something that Canada wants to take. Like, I can't believe I'm sitting here today looking at you guys, and Verhaeghe's got 30 postseason goals. That's McDavid territory. That's Draisaitl. There are like 40 dudes in the league active who have that many goals, and that's Verhaeghe. Like, they have such depth with so many guys who do a thing well that this is the best. It's not merely the best thing that we've had in hockey in this town. That part's obvious. It's one of the best things I've ever seen in sports here. And yeah, hockey can happen, and they can lose 2 of the next 3. And amazing if Toronto, gets to celebrate after that. God, that city would want this team so badly. That city is backpedaling from this team, and they've got 2 at home, because they know their history. And I just can't believe that that's the buzzsaw the Panthers are, because in the third period, they're not likely to lose to anybody.
I'm wondering, Austin Matthews is the interesting part of this series so far to me. What do we make of him? Because he's playing well. He's playing good two-way hockey, probably the best two-way playoff hockey he's played in his career, but he's not scoring.
Ooh. A lot of missed shots, man. He's missing the net. He might actually
He's
be
playing
hurt.
well in this series. He's just not getting the goals.
Dude, I mean, he's reputed to be the best American hockey player. He's got to be better.
You got to score. I'm with you.
You got to score. The Toronto media is having to go at him because he's actively avoiding Barkov on the ice. It seems as though that's Berube's strategy, is like get him on the ice with Lundell. Well, you're not doing anything against Lundell either, who's a pretty good defensive forward in his own right. Yeah, Matthews is delivering defensively. So is Marner delivering defensively. They both, for them to have a chance in this series, they both need to ascend to the mean right now, because they're not counted on as like feisty third, fourth line checking guys. They're counted on to put the team on their shoulders and score goals, and he's not doing that. I'm not going to say he's played well. This is the type of crap that we'd go at Barkey for seasons on end. He is disappearing offensively.
How do you feel about the video behind you? This is the Panthers celebrating together, Marchand.
Look, I can tell you exactly what happened there. Luongo was getting super excited, and Bill Zito was like, calm down. It was Marchand. But right there, he's like, you got to, bring it in a little bit.
What about this after the game? Like, I don't care what you guys say of not being afraid. I don't care about the bravado, okay? When you're down 0-2 and the third one's in overtime at home, you're shitting yourself.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you believe in your team and how much you know they're good late. 1 goal, 1 deflection ends your season. You're not coming back from 0-3.
That's why playoff hockey is the best. Your entire franchise blueprint lives on the blade of a stick, and chunky ice can make it deflect up. Someone can get a stick on it, and there's nothing a goalie can do. Your heart's in your throat for 45 minutes at a time. It feels in real time. Like it's just the best. Conversely, you see a 40-point blowout. Credit to the Cavaliers for making it a 20-point game last night, but it's just this is the thing, and I'm not going to pile on basketball too much here, because
Feels like you are, though.
They'd largely been bringing it, but look at this, man. Look at how good playoff hockey is. Yeah. Every game is like this. Every game, your heart is in your throat, and you tune on TNT and you want to see all right, cool, let's do this on him, and before your ass hits the sofa, the game is over.
Can you guys forgive my ignorance on this? And please tell me, because there are any number of goals I've seen at the buzzer of a period, right? Of a period where the ref's not even sure if it's a goal or not. How often does that happen in Vegas where
the Edmonton own goal, yeah.
That a goal would be scored with 0.4 seconds left in the game and nobody would be sure? Like, how often does the buzzer beater happen in hockey?
3 times in the playoffs, including that one on last night.
Ever.
The night before, I should say.
Yeah. Remember, this whole Panther run kind of started with, not with less than a second, but Brandon Montour equalizing Game 7 at Boston, a series that you came back from down 3-1, and basically equalizing at the death, and then Swaggy calls game in OT.
The Panthers being that from that moment is insane. It's truly insane.
As an 8 seed that got lucky to get in the playoffs.
The story arc of this team and how you build success on top of momentums, it's just a very cool thing to see roaring to life, something that even yes, I know it could lose 2 of the next 3 games, but it has the ability to be this kind of excellent all the time. It's a well-run organization with a lot of players who care and a lot of players who like being here and a lot of players who respect the weirdness and like the weirdness of, yeah, this thing is more popular all over Canada and elsewhere in the world, but we put it here and we can be anonymous a little bit, but not anymore because these are now our people in our neighborhoods. It's an odd thing to grow in the swamp in South Florida, something this kind of excellent.
The anonymous part is so spot on because I was at UFC last month, and you have all the celebrities who sit on the floor and they're on camera and everything. And literally the row right behind me, about 20 feet to my left, was Sam Bennett and Aaron Ekblad, just in the regular seats like me, drinking beers, regular shirt. No one knows who they are. No one is bothering them. But I love the idea of this was all so close to never happening because you could actually go back to the end of Game 5. Marchand had a breakaway with seconds remaining, and Bobrovsky makes the save to send the game to overtime. The Panthers win Game 5, win Game 6, win Game 7. Think how close we were to all of this never happening if Brad Marchand scores on a breakaway that Bobrovsky winds up saving.
Thank God he's a crap player.
You don't get to win today on this one, Mike. Let's play this video in Mike's face here and put it in all the videos behind him.
Your whole line was incredible, but big goal.
The infection is in your locker room. It's sweats.
Let's keep going. Keep our mind like that, and let's battle for more.
Wow. Ready to run through a wall for that guy.
Yeah, I'm totally fired up. This is a lot like 06. When Alonzo Mourning was making positive contributions to the Miami Heat. I was happy for the Miami Heat, was happy for the logo, was happy for the other players. Not happy for Zoe. Not happy for Zoe one bit.
Your whole line.
Here's also the thing that I don't understand. It's not like they acquired a player who had been a Panther killer. We owned him.
Yep.
We owned him,
yeah, because he's not good.
And now he's going to help us after we
He is
owned
helping
him.
us. Thank you
Matter
for
of fact,
thank you for your
we
contributions.
punched him in the head and knocked him out of the series
He punched
last
himself
year.
in the head, which is part of my problem with him. He skated right into Sam Bennett's fist. What do you want him to do?
Well, he's a Maple Leaf killer his entire career. That's why we got him, to beat the Maple Leafs.
I'm happy he's playing well. That's good. Thank you for helping my guys.
Okay, that's all well and nice. It's sweet, hockey, la da 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 da. Shams is saying on Get Up, quote, Giannis is the biggest domino in the NBA right now. He's a 30-year-old in the prime of his career. His potential availability is something all 29 teams outside of Milwaukee are monitoring.
Are you in your prime at 30 in that sport?
No.
Also, go out on a limb. Wow. He's a coveted free agent. We all know that, Shams, please.
He's not. Well, he's not a free agent, right? He's got deals. He's got years on his deal.
Do you think you call all 29 teams and ask if they're monitoring, or you assume that, yeah, it's Giannis? They're monitoring.
LeBron's thinking about his Vegas team that's monitoring it.
The 31st team.
Yeah, whatever it is that he puts his next team, everyone's monitoring. Yes, that changes the entire economy around your giant arena.
What about Friday's presser made you think that you could just run it back and start getting excited about whale chasing again? Yeah. What about the last 4 seasons?
Well, what if I were to ask you guys, because here's the choice, right? Like, it's not that hard. What if you put Hero and Bam available, you can get between 4 and 6 first-round picks. And I'm guessing Pat Riley wouldn't want to stick around for that. But I will tell you, Nick Garrison is going to be running that franchise, So if there is a time to rebuild on wherever it is, like that the Heat exists, where it's a father and a son, and Pat Riley works for them, very much works for them, he's not going to be here for 5 or 6 first-round picks. So which route would you like to go?
What? Excuse me, Pat. Can I speak directly to you, Pat? You don't want to let go of Bam or Tyler because you desperately need to keep this 10th place core together?
Well, no, I think it's about you don't want to let go of them because if you get all those draft picks there, it's clearly like a 4 or 5 year plan. He doesn't want a 4 or 5 year plan.
Well, we don't know that. They could very well, like, the way that you net superstars these days isn't necessarily superstar for superstar. It's for picks. You can absolutely
get
microwave a roster
You
with
can
picks.
get Durant for picks. That's what the Suns want.
Yeah.
They're gonna
Although
nuke it.
It's been reported that Miami isn't willing to actually go to the extent that they were even mid-season for Kevin Durant. This is a player that's up there, and it's not necessarily viewed as a good contract. But yeah, I think that you can actually be more aggressive in today's NBA with a stockpile of picks and be quicker to microwave something. So,
But the difference is it's not like New York, where New York sends the 5 picks and they get Mikal Bridges and they're adding him to Towns and to Jalen Brunson and to all of that. The only way the Heat would have all these picks would be if they traded away the current good players. Okay, fine. So now maybe Milwaukee would agree to trade for those picks, but is Giannis good with coming to a team that has nothing?
But just you say has nothing, and I don't know. We can say that Max Strus and Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent and whatever that was happening around Jimmy Butler, who's not as good as Giannis. No, Giannis is not in his prime, although it's a funny thing to say. This was his best season. So, he's been great and unstoppable. You do anything you can to get that player at this age. I don't think, you take Anthony Edwards because he's younger, but there aren't many guys. If it's Jokic, it's this guy. You can have a third if you want, but this is a franchise changer. I know we've gotten spoiled by LeBron in his prime at 25 as a free agent. Okay, this doesn't become available after that season, and it's now available, and every team is in play. And of course, I say this without dilution or equivocation. It should be easy. If you could get Giannis for Bam and whatever else you have to do, you have to get Giannis.
If you're Boston, do you trade Tatum for Giannis?
Yes.
So you already don't have a good hand.
They're thinking of blowing up the Boston team already.
Yeah, that's already been reported. You don't have a good hand here. Your hand is a Tyler Hero homecoming if you're thinking about player for player. And bam, that's fine, but there's going to be better offers around the league. This is a crap roster. These are not good players. Tyler Hero is a looter and a riot. We've seen the best of Bam out of Bio.
Giannis also just got bounced in the first round, so he needs pieces around him.
Okay, hold on. Okay, because Mike, you're being really disrespectful. Okay, on this front. Okay, you could say that Tyler Hero is a garbage all-star. Okay, ton of usage rate, and we saw as a number one at the end of games what happens, how you get strangled if that's your number one at the end of games. Nobody would argue with that. Bam Adebayo is still, even in the freakish age of these extraterrestrials running around there, one of the very few in the league can guard 1 through 5. And if you trade him away, you're trading away your defense, a cornerstone of whatever it is that Spo and Riley teach. But it does not matter. This player available, you do anything you can to want him here, and you try to woo him with the idea that you can promise him what the Panthers now have is less state income tax, and you can live in Miami because you're an international icon and it might be fun to live in Miami.
The nation laughs at you. You're a Bulls fan hyping up Josh Giddey. That's what you're doing right now. Tyler Hero does not register. Tyler Hero nationally is not considered a good player.
These two players, though, did get to the Eastern Conference Finals and the championship round,
but not on their own.
And frankly, not on their own. They had Jimmy Butler, but the last time the Celtics lost 3 games in a row was when they were down 3-0 to the Heat. Because you can tell me that Bam is a 2 and Bam is a 3. Are really good 2s and 3s.
But also, on their own, they just had the most lopsided playoff defeat in the history of the league.
I don't know what I can do that can tell you you're a bad team more than what the Cavs did. If you're arguing the merits of keeping Bam and Tyler, you're arguing for something that happened several years ago. Maybe Tyler gets better.
I don't
Bam
think
is
anyone's
not.
arguing that. Is anyone arguing?
What would you guys do if you two were running the Heat? What would you do? Would you get rid of them to try to bring in Giannis, or would you not? Because I feel like you're hyping them up, but also you don't want to get rid of them to get Giannis, but you would trade them to get Giannis.
I'm simply saying that Mike really disrespects them when he calls these multi-time all-stars between them and an international player who's got a gold medal when he insults them by just saying they're trash.
No,
that's not Julius Randle. You did this to Julius Randle. This is not Julius Randle.
I don't know.
He's pretty good.
He's having a great series.
I don't know if I boiled it down to
Zaz, I don't know if you're watching.
I wouldn't mind having Julius Randle.
I don't know if I boiled it down to them being trash. They've made good contributions to this franchise. Bam's best basketball is behind him. You're a 10 seed. I don't know what else to tell you, pal. I really don't. If you want to argue that Bam's going to all of a sudden be more aggressive and be the number 2 that you need him to be to win a championship, you're off in La La Land.
No, I don't think anyone is arguing that. And I would take exception to the idea that the Heat already have the worst hand just because I would trade Jason Tatum for Giannis. Doesn't mean the Celtics would do that. And it doesn't mean that all those, the 29 other teams in the league would take their top star. It doesn't mean Minnesota would take whoever and trade, or Denver would take whoever and trade for Giannis. Like, if we're just focusing on Miami, yeah, I think the Heat are at the point where they would trade Bam. Certainly they would trade Hero. I think they would trade Bam for Giannis at this point. I do. And I don't know if the equivalent to that around the league is if those teams would do that. So I don't know if the hand is as bad as you think it is.
And Miami has a better hand than the other teams that he's gone out and mentioned, like, I'd rather go to LA, New York, or Miami. I think Miami has the better hand out of all of those cities.
Right.
I'm frustrated. Like, break yourself of this. Break yourself of chasing the Giannis whaledom, please, and look at what you have right now.
Why? If a player's available, why shouldn't we want to chase
bad
them?
pieces and a president that doesn't necessarily seem like is aligned right now with a sea change happening within the organization. I didn't take a single word Pat Riley said seriously on Friday. There's a whole bunch of nothing.
Well, what did you have the biggest problem with what he said?
I mean, he just lied.
Like, I really don't think he said very much of anything.
No, well, I wanted a little bit more accountability, quite honestly. A little bit more like, okay, I shouldn't have been so prideful. Maybe that worked against us a little bit.
You mean with Jimmy?
I have a responsibility to this franchise to maximize leverage, and I certainly did not do that when it came to Jimmy Butler.
Well, he doesn't believe he has anything to apologize there for.
Yeah, no, I'm aware, which was disappointing, which is why I'm calling it a dog and pony show.
This is interesting because Mike Ryan wants to run on a platform of the greatest political movement in the country right now is, I won't be wrong. I refuse to be wrong. I'm going to be right on what it is
Everything
that I
say
think
is the truth.
And so I would just say to you, like, this is such dead-on criticism. Is Pat Riley being too prideful? Duh. He's Pat Riley.
You just call Pat Riley Trump.
Glad we found consensus.
Like,
it seems as though we fixed it.
Like, yes, obviously, he speaks to humility when he says you have to humble yourself, and then he's Pat Riley. Like, he's not going to say, I'm sorry to Jimmy Butler, and he's sure as shit not going to say in the contract age, I'm sorry for not giving him an extension when he was under contract.
Well, how about the very first thing that Riley said on Friday before he sits down, as he's sitting down, before any questions are asked? Who in here wasn't born by the time I took over the franchise?
Look, Zaz,
that's a power line. Come on.
No, Zaz, that was the worst start. If you want to, like, if what I'm looking for you is, please, Pat, show me some contrition and show me that you're not out of touch. And you're going to start screaming at younger generations. And it was coded, the entire presser was coded by this. How do you reach this generation of basketball player? Does Heat culture work reaching this player, this type of NBA player? You got to put in not just put in the time, but put in the work. Are you serious right now, Pat? You're a 10 seed talking to me about wind sprints right now? Are you serious? Are you honestly complaining about cell phones right now? Are you an old timer that is so out of touch? We're going to start with who here wasn't alive when I took over this franchise and everything it's a bad look, brother. That is an 80-year-old man. He's just 2 years younger than Biden. I'm telling you right now, that is not the way you start things.
Oh, well, now this is an interesting one. If you'd like to explore this one, I'd like to, after having a lovely Mother's Day with my parents, both of whom are in their 80s, and both of them, I would not want them running the Heat franchise. It would seem to be...
Your mom's kind of sharp, dude.
Yeah, maybe
your mom's on it.
Your
mom's on it.
No bad ideas.
Look, all I'm saying is, okay, to help my mother up 5 steps very gingerly and to have my dad in the center of the stairs and to have the flashbacks from 8 years ago when Poppy's climbing the Clevelander staircase with pizza and I'm running behind him because if he breaks his hip, I'm bleeped for the rest of my life.
No, he probably is.
And him.
And that might be the end.
Secondarily.
But then you're taking care of him. So.
Yes, he dies. So what I'm saying is he can't do anything after that. I don't want my father driving anywhere. I would not want him running the Heat franchise. So if you want to do Biden's age, that feels a bit like ageism to me. I will tell you that he's sharp, but they said the same thing about sharp in private on Biden, if you want to be ageist about this.
No. Pat Riley is sharp. But what I'm highlighting is when you start your presser like that, and what a lot of people are questioning is this guy still in touch with today's NBA? You start your presser like that, it kind of underscores that you might be out of touch, which is partly to blame for why you botched the Jimmy situation so badly.
Okay, but can I just talk to you guys about this part of it? Because how people become formed. Yes, he's an 80-year-old man who's identified with nothing but basketball for 60 years and has always won. Yes, of course, he thinks he's the reason for all of the winning. Of course he does. And you can tell him he has blind spots about this, but he will do it with Ewing, and he'll do it with Starks, and he'll do it with Alonzo, and he'll do it with Tim Hardaway, and he'll do it with Shaq, and he'll do it with Wade, and he'll do it with Magic, and he'll do it with Kareem, and he'll do it before that at Kentucky. So he always thinks he's going to win, of course, to the very end. And you say he's not? You say he's too old? I mean, he's going to save bleep off. Like, I get to run this till the end the way I want to because I've earned it, because I helped build this sport. And you could tell him, hey, old man, get out of here. Anthony Edwards has nothing in common with you. He wouldn't want to play for you. Why would he want to play for you? He doesn't want to run wind sprints like that. He wants to chuck threes for the rest of his life.
Poorly.
Because dunking hurts. Because dunking hurts his body.
Yeah, I'm not running Pat out of town. I said on Friday, if there's anybody in the history of South Florida sports that deserves to write their own ending, it is Pat Riley. However, he doesn't get to do that with impunity. You can openly question whether or not this guy is making the right decisions, because over the last few seasons, he hasn't. And you can openly question whether or not he is in tune with today's NBA, because I think every time he opens his mouth or sends out a press release, he's kind of showing you it's going to be a struggle.
On the Jimmy situation, though, Riley or not, you knew that was going to end the way it ended.
He was a crazy person they were dealing with.
Well,
which one?
This is an entire different conversation. Like, if I were to say to you, in the context of some of this, if I were to say to you that you go to a player in this age of player, a player who may, like Draymond and anyone else, have like up-down swings that could use, I don't know, talking to somebody in a way that's not prideful. If someone refuses to do that, what do you do? Like, how do you play that one if I'm running an organization and when you say he's a crazy person, but we do that now clinically, now that basketball has taught us about DeMar DeRozan and Kevin Love, like the pressures of all this is nuts, how it changes your life. And anyone could feel it, a mental health barrage. If I tell anyone in the league, hey, who in the league's crazy? Like, it's Draymond and this guy, and we're not assigning it a clinical diagnosis. If Draymond's doing public therapy on Amazon, like he's showing you his life. Draymond's podcast is interesting. He says things. He's interesting, and he's introspective, whether he's wrong or not. If I say to you, Draymond right now, what is he, two technicals from being kicked out again? Draymond, you need counseling. You gotta go see something about this. And the answer is just no. Then what?
Can't do anything.
Can't do anything.
Nothing.
Can't do anything except like maybe criticize him for trying to play the victim, which I'll do.
But I'm saying so. But is there a third?
The angry black man thing was like, come on. Dude.
Is there a third person?
Who framed this narrative around you, Draymond? The white media? I mean, we can dissect that in a vacuum, but you're Draymond Green. I don't want to hear this right now. Not from you. You're like the craziest person that's ever worn a uniform in that sport.
Behave like
Dennis Rodman.
Okay. Like, even Dennis wasn't like, you're hitting me with angry black man right now. Come on, dude.
He's not an angry black man.
He was usually pretty happy.
He was. Am I the only person that's like, he says that, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm an ally I have to receive this. Wait a second, man. That's not true. I'm not hitting you with this. I'm talking about you like this because you're insane.
This episode is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
That OKC defense pretty good, huh?
Hey, that was a good game. That was like a throwback playoff.
It was
game.
not a good game.
It was terrible. Did you watch or no?
That's playoff hoops, baby.
That's a good
That's
game.
a good
25
game.
points in the first quarter with 37 missed shots.
Denver had scored 8 points the entire
8
first
points
quarter.
in the first quarter.
And I thought they were going to win that game.
I love that game.
No,
It was a great game.
The Nuggets were late in the third period. It was not a good game. It was terrible.
No, don't be like this. Basketball was basketball in the
Love
90s.
it.
That was a nice 90s
Love
ass
it.
game.
Love
That was a
it.
great
Okay,
90s basketball
listen to
game.
me. It was not, okay? And OKC, like one of the things that's just fascinating to watch, it really is super interesting. So many years ago, D'Antoni says to James Harden, we're going to get up 53s a game and you're going to have 15 assists. And I remember Harden's quote, coach be tripping. Like, no way, no way. No, what are you talking about? D'Antoni's ahead of the curve. He almost knocks out that Golden State team because they were slicing up the math so much. Take 53s, take 53s. I got into such a huge argument with Boston, and it felt so good. It felt so good because Boston's built the fastest car. It's the greatest thing ahead of everyone else by just a little bit, but holy shit, look out. OKC will smother you. And Chet Holmgren, when he introduces himself, he's not saying forward or center, he's saying athlete. Like, I don't know if that team can knock out Boston, but I do know that I would have liked to see Boston tested by Denver. And I do know in the last few years, I've never seen Jokic look like that. 0 for 10 from 3. What are you talking about?
He's exhausted, though, Dan.
Of course, because they're young. They're young and they're hungry and they want to shit.
Right. That's the part.
That's
know,
great.
I keep hearing Jokic is finally exhausted from carrying the team. No. He's playing the team that won 68 games in the regular season. Like, that's why he looks like this.
Denver also plays like 6 guys, right? Like they don't have a bench, which is the other bigger issue.
Oh, but it's not just 6 guys. It's through 3 quarters in that game. Denver's got other guys getting free throws. It's just Shea. It's just Shea. But they grind you down. And what you're not noticing is, oh my God, the game plan is now that the Wolves are just going to slowly eat the elephant over the course of the game and series because the MVP of the league, Denver, is not a great team. When he's on the floor, their plus-minus is historic. When he leaves for 3 minutes, they're terrible. Like, it's not a great team. It's a champion because that guy was that for 3 years, best offensive player I've ever seen, Michael Jordan included. However, when the 68-win team is young and we've been talking about Shea, and people aren't paying attention, no, they ground you to dust on defense.
Yes. So why are you arguing that it's a bad game? Not to get too bogged down in this, but like it gave you moments. It actually had a point differential that was tight for most of that game. That's playoff basketball, which is all about drama. And the way that these point differentials have been going is you don't even have the opportunity for drama. It seems as though teams know that the game is over once they're down 20 outside of outlier New York Knicks performances. That was a good game. And now you actually see it. Like, I came away so impressed with OKC despite them not playing their best basketball game because they found a way to win on the road while they didn't play their best basketball game. It was a gritty effort, and that's a kind of effort that jumps off the screen in terms of like, oh, this team has a toughness about them that might actually be enough to get them over that hump.
Looking at the box score right now of the game.
An atrocity.
So, no. I loved that game last
basketball.
night because I love that style. But the score at the end of the first quarter, 17-8.
25 points.
Funny.
It was dreadful.
SGA had as many points as the Nuggets had.
It was dreadful.
That first quarter.
And Denver was only winning. Again, they were shooting 30% and up 5 only because they were getting a few more free throws. It was just dreadful to watch.
Oh, man, it was great.
I think it was great, too. In the first and the fourth quarter, half the game combined, the Nuggets scored 26 points.
They have nobody outside of their big 3, and Aaron Gordon's been playing amazing this series
I love that
and this
game.
playoff.
I thought he only dunked.
Can I tell you about the Boston argument? That's my fault. That was bad analysis by me. And a lot of people have been pointing out, like I've gotten so much of this weekend. They've been pointing out some form of screaming and yelling at me because my analysis of Jason Tatum was the following. And I guess I mean it as an indictment, but it just seems obvious to me.
I'll decide. I'm a judge.
Okay, so what I was telling you about Boston's got the fastest car for now. They game the system, right? They got the best three-point shooters, and they got Porzingis at 7-3 stretching the floor, and nobody in the East will probably beat them. They're still favorites, even though they were down 2-0 and going on the road, because I think we all feel like whatever can beat them is out west. Maybe Indiana. Indiana plays them tough.
Dan, I have to say something really quick. You were right about the Pacers. Wow. You've been right about the Pacers since the break of the holidays. The Pacers are incredible.
The Pacers could beat the Celtics, had the position to beat the Celtics last year. But this, to me, is the interesting part where I get into a fight with Boston. Because I was saying, where are Jason Tatum's moments is what I was talking about. I was saying Jalen Brunson, in the last series, to extinguish Detroit, gave a generation of sports fans for the Knicks something they will never forget. It's not a championship, but it's a moment. And so I was asking, where are Jason Tatum's moments? And Boston was infuriated. And I was just getting pelted with Jason Tatum, no moments. 2023 Eastern Conference semifinals versus the 76ers. Most points ever in a Game 7. 42 minutes, 51 points, 17 of 28 field goals, 5 assists, 2 steals. I guess that's not a moment.
I don't remember that.
No, well, hold on a second. It's not a moment. It's a game. A game is not a moment. You know what a moment is? A moment is, why don't Karl Malone and John Stockton have a championship? Give me a moment.
The push-off.
But I'm just saying, like that, those are the moments, and it's the only thing he doesn't have. And I don't mean it as indictment, but I do wonder, and I think it's fair to wonder. When we can now measure, Jalen Brunson in the fourth quarter is great. We can say Jason Tatum is an amazing player, third best in the league this season, had the best first round of any player maybe in the entire postseason. And we can also say, to date, he has not been tested in a way that wouldn't make him just a front runner on a team that can win by 20, that he doesn't have the moments you remember that you can point to. And so I'm just wondering, when Boston points out, and I won't even point out that that game was against James Harden. I won't even point out that 50-point games don't mean what they used to.
Embiid did nothing in that game too, by the way.
My dog's spitting right now.
I would just ask you, like, it was such a weird argument to have with Boston. Do you not know the difference between games and moments? Because I'll tell you, here's a moment. Carlton Fisk is a moment. Ask everybody whether they won the World Series that year or not, or whether anyone knows whether the Boston Red Sox won outside of your city.
Well, they famously had a drought of World Series, so they know they didn't win the
I'm
World
just
Series
saying that
year.
I'm guessing if you ask people this home run, this image, young people, and you say, did this win a championship? The answer would be, of course.
Yeah, I had no idea, actually. I just know if he's blowing the wind one way or the other. I don't know if it was this way or that way.
Because it's a
moment.
moment.
Larry Bird in his short shorts with the towel. That was also a moment.
It's down the left field line. So
Okay, I'm a judge. So I could tell you saying that Jason Tatum does not have any moments. Where are the moments? I officially rule that's an indictment.
Wow.
And I rule with prejudice.
Judge Zaslow, I've told you guys
I always rule prejudice.
What?
Yeah, I made my ruling with prejudice.
That's all about prejudice. Yeah.
Kind of like the judicial system now.
Sort of. By the way, just put this on the poll. Is there any such thing as wrong anymore as Qatar gets into the game with $400 million palace in the sky for Trump? Just put on the poll. Is there any such thing as wrong anymore? I will tell you the story. Could you guys look this up for me, please, what year this was? I can't remember which Olympic village it was, but would it have been Atlanta? It may have been 30 years ago, but I'm introduced to the idea of Qatar because I didn't have any familiarity with it. And the way I'm introduced to it is they were trying to launder their money by buying Bulgarian weightlifters that were clearly cheating to represent Qatar in weightlifting. And that's the quaint little way they got into the game as a rogue nation with oil money. and I think I have this right when I say it's 1992. Is there any such thing as wrong anymore? Because Mike Ryan's trying to run on a platform of right now the biggest political movement in the United States is I was not wrong. I will never admit I'm wrong. I'm just going to churn ahead. There's no such thing as wrong anymore.
While I try to push the country forward and admit whenever I'm wrong. Earlier this series, I called Brad Marchand a rotational winger. He's been probably the most consistent. I lumped him in with a group that was unfair to really Jonah Gadjevich mostly because I omitted him from the list of rotational wingers that I'd personally rather have out there than Brad Marchand. But again, I love the franchise more than you. And by the way, the polls are speaking for themselves. People are saying that we've reached consensus here, haven't we, Billy? I care about the Florida Panthers more than Sasha Barkov.
Okay, I'm going to get back to that. I'm sorry I let that go because it's one of the most ridiculous things ever said by a human being.
Now the people are siding with Mike on this one on both Twitter and Instagram right now, overwhelmingly so.
Overwhelming. Look, you guys decide that the second arrival that has treated your franchise and its players like absolute garbage, that you would welcome into your open, warm embrace.
Don't mince words. He's saying you guys are spineless, the two of yous.
I think that your loyalty isn't to the front of the jersey, isn't to the crest, whereas mine cannot be questioned because I will hate Brad Marchand forever.
My loyalty is exactly to the front of the sweater, is exactly to the crest, is exactly to the shield, and that's why I root for Marchand right now because I root for the front of that jersey. I don't care what the back of that jersey says. I don't
it says
care
Marchand.
I don't care.
The back of the jersey says Marchand.
You see that shield right here?
Yeah.
This is what it's about.
You don't deserve to
iron that
you
on
would
that
probably
shirt.
walk all over
shirt,
that
please?
crest in the locker room.
Exactly. Real Panthers fans would rather lose this playoff than win with Marchand. Without a doubt, in my mind.
I mean, I would take it as confirmation bias that they made the wrong move.
I'm feeling like Mike at this point, Roy. I don't know how you feel about it. I'm feeling like Mike is almost actively rooting against the Panthers and rooting only to be right.
You'd rather be right.
How dare you? No.
He is.
No. Roy?
Yes.
How dare you?
Yourself.
How dare I? How dare you?
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
Roy, what are you rooting for?
Everyone knows
Panthers.
how
What
much
are
I
you
care
thinking
about this
Oh,
franchise.
trap, set, and caught.
You got him.
You're supposed
Unbiased
to be
member of the
an
media.
impartial member of the media who just admitted to rooting for the Panthers.
I wear my emotions
Inside
on my
job.
sleeve.
Roy, he got your ass there.
What did you guys get?
Set
Got his
and
ass. We got
trap.
his ass.
You got his ass.
Got his
got
ass because he does his
Got
thing
his
where he's like,
ass.
I'm an unbiased member of the media. I don't really care about that.
we got his ass.
We got
Every
his
election
ass.
day, I'm right
No,
there
I'll
with
admit
He
it.
tried to
I
argue
will
that he
admit
cared
it.
about the Panthers more than me.
We-
I will admit it.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
looking right at you.
You
I
don't.
will admit that I'm rooting for the Panthers. You know
No.
why?
Are you
Because
doing
I've been
that?
rooting for the Panthers
Pull
for 30
those
years.
credentials right now. Pull those credentials right now.
How dare you?
We
Who
can't
here-
have that in the press box.
Who here set up a Panthers promo table and a prize wheel at a gas station in their life?
I have actually.
You did. I won a prize, actually, I think.
Who?
Yeah.
Now it's my turn, right?
Community engagement. Who called season ticket holders?
Nice. That's a nice credential. Now it's my turn, though, right?
Is it?
Who in here was a Panther broadcaster for several seasons?
Oh my God! Here we go.
I mean,
With this game
broadcasters.
again.
That's a very transient position.
Here we
Look
go.
at this
What?
guy. Not only with the fan, but with the
Mercenary.
broadcaster.
You go where the
on
jobs
board.
are. You
Oh,
go
I
where
was
the
a
jobs
producer
are.
for
I
a
was a
season.
Panthers broadcaster until the Heat were good. Then boom, I jumped over like a trollop to the Heat bandwagon. Then I'm a two-time championship broadcaster. And then the Heat, I'm a Heat fan after I wasn't a broadcaster. And then the Heat weren't good anymore. Boom, now I'm a Panthers fan.
Well, now you're talking like a crazy person.
patterns.
Did Michael Yormark ever ask you for a printout?
Wow.
He asked me for a printout. Did he ask
All
you for a
right,
printout?
I don't
No,
want
you're
this
more-
comparison
Oh,
off.
no.
I don't want. Look,
Did you ever share elevators with Mike Keenan?
Mike
Ooh.
did.
Oh, not Mike
Okay,
Keenan.
you know what? You know what?
Keenan and Kel.
We've got a penalty, 5 minutes. Major asshole.
I can't have you in here
Jazz, out of here.
saying you care more about the Panthers
Roy,
than
out of here. Dan, don't worry, I got this. Roy, Zaz, out of here. Hit the road, Jacks.
No. But he might be right
Dan
about Mike
kicked-
Keenan, though.
Dan just kicked you out. You have to respect this. Dan has kicked you
Billy,
and Zaslow
it is
out of
not
here at
Wild
this
Willy
moment.
Wednesday, Billy.
No, it's Monday. I'm here. I'm trying to enforce the rules that these two are not abiding by. Guys, Dan hit the button. You got to go. We'll be back. Don't worry.
Pretty sure the penalty box door is open for you.
Really?
No,
Is
they're
that
right.
so?
They're right.
Challenge.
Actually, they're right. Actually, I don't know how they did this, but it's actually on you.
That's bullshit.
It is. It is.
I got to tell you, I agree with Mike on Mike Keenan.
Yeah,
having to share that elevator with him, that must have been
Roy.
very
You're going to have to leave as well. I'm sorry,
but
you're going to have to leave.
Thank you for
Rules are
your
rules.
last-second appeal,
well,
but you don't love the Panthers as much as I
And
do.
well,
The people have spoken.
The thing that just happened now that is just truly shocking, and they did trap you, and I can't believe it. Usually, Roy is savvier than this. I don't know if the second round of the playoffs has gotten to him. I don't know if the last 2 days of shit yourself, especially overtime in Game 3 when he pretends to not shit himself when he was shitting himself, has made it so that he's more susceptible to being trapped by Mike and Billy. But it's happened. I just witnessed it. He just admitted he's not a journalist. I was shocked by that.
It's just been a crazy week for journalism. First, Pablo's just making up stories about the Belichicks according to UNC, and now Roy's doing this. I mean, what's going on?
And the horse.
Can you guys tell me what's going on with old highfalutin Pablo? 11 sources.
Jordan finished, was it third?
Second.
I've seen conflicting
It
reports.
was third in Maine.
Third in Maine?
It was third,
what was
wasn't
the
it?
second?
I thought it was
Second was
Let's
last year.
get down to the bottom
Second
of
was
this.
last year.
So I saw a report that she finished the exact same spot, but conflicting reports. Here's one thing that's for sure. She didn't win, and she was not happy about it. But surprisingly, according to reports, BB was there.
Yeah, duh.
He was there.
I did, yeah.
So despite like all of this like PR spin, like they thought, no, public appearance at this beauty pageant, that's a good move.
Can we call Pablo because this is going to be the Peabody of winning journalism he does? 11 sources.
If Taylor's a source, you got no sources.
I felt bad for Jordan because like that quote, like there was one anonymous quote that Pablo attributed. She's the worst person I've ever met, and I deal with actual sociopaths. That's
harsh.
I mean, she's that would be hard for anybody to
All
hear.
right, so UNC denies it, okay, and this is funny to think about. Maybe we should get Pablo on here because he's been accused by Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen, excuse me.
Carry on. Play on for me.
It should be. Thank you, Tony.
That's a play on Dan.
See, Tony, thank
Marcus
you.
Jordan.
This is what happens when you I was thinking about this should be the Jordan rules, banned from campus. Like this is so stupid. And honest to God, of course the machine's going to fall on this woman. You can't have.
Did you see
You can't have someone strong. You cannot have someone strong and a woman challenging this particular construct in a way that makes Belichick look like he's getting run around and isn't like he's not thinking clearly. It's really unfair to have this, the whole machine batter her here because it's such a male machine. And I'm not even saying, like, I don't know whether she's an opportunist. I don't know whether she's a gold digger. You can have whatever your idea of love is. I would say this, just in general. I'm guessing Bill Belichick hasn't been doing a lot of exploring of his innards on what relationship growth should look like over the course of the last 50 years of being obsessed with that stupid thing and how big and giant it is to win at that level. My guess is he hasn't been paying a lot of attention to his relationships outside of football. So I don't know what's happening there. Obviously, everyone's curious about it, but Pablo reporting with 11 sources, and Billy, I think you just betrayed Pablo by saying if Taylor was one of them. I didn't even think of that.
Why is that a betrayal of Pablo?
No, Taylor.
I'm putting my journalism hat on.
Taylor, like a lot of Tar Heels on this one, head in the sand. Wow. Head in the sand.
Everyone is eating at the trough of how ridiculous it is in the modern age to watch one of the great industry tycoons, giants, geniuses be apparently, for all to see, run around by a 24-year-old woman who might be ambitious, and how uncomfortable that might just generally make threatened men.
Definitely ambitious. There's no might be. Jordan's definitely ambitious.
I know, but whatever. She's taking advantage of the same opportunity Belichick's taking advantage of, which is like there's a business opportunity right here for both of them that makes her famous, like makes her like I don't know if she actually wants this coming her way, right? Like this is a pretty terrible kind of famous, but wherever it is, the generational gulf is. She was in a Dunkin' Donuts Super Bowl commercial. Like whatever she wants from attention is here. And my guess is in her early 20s, there's no one equipped to deal with what this attention looks like when it's blessed football you're coming after. And you have the audacity to be a woman who wants some of the money.
Can I ask a question? Why do we care about this so much? Like, why is CNN having on multiple guests to talk about Bill Belichick's relationship? Like,
because
why
it's
are we?
Because it's fascinating.
But it's not like, if you want to be taken seriously as like a news outfit, why are you covering this story?
Does numbies.
That's correct.
Okay, it does numbies, but that's why you can't be taken seriously as a news outfit after that. Because, like, if this is what you're deeming news in a time where there's actual, real, crazy news going on and you're wasting time on this for ratings, like, pardon me for not taking you seriously.
Mainstream media's dead. Is this not fascinating? This is super fascinating.
It is, but like
This
not
is
for
like-
actual news networks. This is
it's-
below them.
It's just
This is like fun for TMZ.
yeah. No, I
No-
get
no-
you.
News is dead. Billy is being killed right now. I will tell you, Pablo Torre's podcast is just rocketed to the top of everything doing business.
Oh, I know, but
'cause
like this
he's got
is like smut
11
numbers.
Well,
is
but-
what
Yeah.
we're,
I mean,
like,
didn't this
trafficking.
didn't this go up to another stratosphere though? Like on a true news program on CBS Sunday morning. Like didn't this kind of unfold through a traditional media mean? Did it not? I think that's where
It was
everybody.
It was CBS Sunday Morning.
Yeah,
It's
I
a-
think that's
and-
where everybody paid attention, and like not just football fans, but casual people are like, wait, what's going on with one of the greatest head coaches of all time, if not the greatest? He's dating
But like we're largely not reporting anything. It's all just gossiping about like, his
Well,
relationship.
so that's where some of the more interesting stuff has been from the gossip. Like, why are they so murky about when they met? And then in Pablo's podcast, they kind of theorize she might have been 19.
Okay, so just so you guys know, okay, because Pablo Torre's podcast is a place, as media shakes and crumbles, is a safe space for independent microphone conversation. I will tell you, for those of you who are worried about the future of our show because, hey, why is this Stugotz? Why is he stepping back? Well, I would like all my friends to have giant businesses, and Stugotz would like God Bless Football to be a giant business, and he's going to make it a giant business. And Pablo's going to make Pablo Torre Finds Out a giant business, and David Sampson has already made Nothing Personal a giant business. And that's why we left and did what we did, so that we can have, people take up their brands and be independent. And then when the corporations come around now, as you have people,
Eyes on the prize here. This is about Jordan.
She did finish third, by the way.
Hold
Well,
on.
she was a
last
second
year.
runner-up.
Second was last year.
Hold
third.
That's
on.
where the confusion is.
Hold on. I'll get back to the smut of Jordan. I'm just saying Pablo Torre's doing actual journalism, and in this case, he's in the gutter for clicks, but he's got 11 sources, and he's more informed than all of you on this subject matter because it's not even his first time tackling it. What I'm saying is, wherever it is you might think it's smut, you dismiss a podcast you're not listening to because he's insistent upon doing it with journalism, even if this is smut and even if this is the thing that gets the clicks, because obviously everybody, it's not just that it's fascinating. Everyone's like, what's going on there? Like, what this person,
Someone should find out.
this person is a genius. This person he conquered the sport, and then he goes from that to gaming the system, right? Gaming the system. Goes straight to college. I'm hugely famous. Nobody in the pros will take me. Atlanta's asking to interview me a second time and declining me. Okay, clearly the end of my career, right? Like I could probably get a job somewhere, someplace, or I couldn't get the Atlanta job. Like, right, I was free, and people don't like whatever I'm doing because not unlike Riley, hey, coach, you got too much power. And Kraft is making documentaries saying he's the one that did that with Brady, and you were just kind of there. And then you're putting in your book, in that CBS Sunday morning show, you're putting in your book no mention of Kraft because you think you deserve the credit. So how does that get run around by a 20-year-old, and how is North Carolina reacting to it? Scared and looking at the buyout, I imagine, because he's got Strahan on Friday. And this thing, it'd be funny to see a Titan toppled by his inability to control generationally what's happening with who he's dating.
Do you think there are odds out there on him never coaching a game at UNC?
His buyout does go to $1 million in a few days. I think there's plenty weird about this, and I'm not even talking about the age goal. I really don't even care about that. I honestly wouldn't really think twice about it. Truly, if it were behind the scenes. But like, this guy is so well known for keeping distractions away from the team, and he has brought one of the biggest distractions in the history of football that people cannot get enough. Like, it's transcended. It's transcended. Like, yeah, there have been like sporting scandals where people who care about sports care about it. This is now Us Weekly. Like, you're at the checkout lane in your supermarket and you know about think about what I'm telling you.
People are still doing this?
You know about Bill Belichick's dating life and how it's hurting his football team. This is the antithesis of what Bill Belichick has done
Big
in the public
hypocrite.
eye.
Big hypocrite.
This scandal is bigger than him hiding a killer in his locker room.
It's certainly bigger than Deflategate. This is bigger than Deflategate. This is getting people to care in more profound ways.
That was not hiding a killer. He was not hiding.
In plain sight, Dan.
hiding.
In plain sight.
He wasn't aiding and abetting.
Aiding and abetting.
We don't know.
At best.
We don't know.
We kind of do.
We don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure. Judge Zaslow?
Do we know or not know?
Legally speaking, he was also never convicted.
We do not know.
We do not know.
We do not know.
The buyout on Belichick's contract drops from $10 million down to $1 million in a couple of weeks. And
Steve Martin's as well.
No.
That's not fair.
I was repeating it so I could add the information.
Emphasis.
I mean, like you care more than
I'll go.
You care
I'll go.
more than Barkov, and
go.
well, no,
Accountability.
you
I was wrong to do that to you.
You can stay there.
Okay.
You can stay there.
Thank you. We found common ground. Thank you for working towards a solution.
Okay. You can care more than Barkov about Panthers hockey.
Thank you.
But you do not know, despite your arrogance, what I'm going to say next, even though you always think you do.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Okay.
You write it on a piece of paper,
Yeah.
give it to Zaz, and then
Yeah.
Mike has to guess what it is, and we'll see if we're right.
The buyout on Belichick's contract drops from $10 million to $1 million in a couple of weeks. And Pablo Torre, who's going to join us in a little while, is very interested in the clicks, said on the Foxworth podcast today, there is a, quote, absolutely real chance that Belichick does not make it to week one.
Oh, give it a number, coward. There's a real chance. That's not a
Coward's on another network.
I'll admit it. I was wrong. I wrote down attention economy.
thing. Also, by the way, like, is this really bad for North Carolina, a team that finished 12th in the ACC
won't have a
last year?
coach.
Like,
Dude,
more
this is
people are
bad.
talking about them. I don't think
Any
this is
pub,
bad
good
for them.
pub.
This is bad.
Just go get Larry Fedora again.
This isn't bad for them.
This is bad because I happen to know, like, I wish Pablo talked to me because I would have been a good source. He's not going to be there for long. He doesn't want to be there for long. He doesn't want to. He reminds
fun.
people often how close he is to the all-time wins record. That is my reporting, according to my sources.
You're reporting that?
Yes. And there was like a weird time in which he stopped talking to UNC when the Dallas job opened. Like, he does not want to be there. And I think what finally registered with him, with this whole hiring, whole new PR and everything like that, is this is actually impeding his path to get back to the NFL.
Oh, that
And-
ship has sailed.
No, he's finally paying attention to it in ways that are like, oh no, like I think I might have done damage here. The NFL does not want this Jordan circus.
I think flip side. Let's focus on the positive. Greatest coach ever, right? We would at least
Don't
up
look
for
at me
debate.
when you're saying right.
I'm asking you up for debate.
You don't
One
think
of the
so?
greatest coaches ever.
You don't think so? Not the greatest coach ever?
No.
Who is?
Shula.
Okay.
Okay, well, whatever. One of the greatest coaches ever, aside from Shula, if he gets North Carolina into the college football playoff, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to tell you right now, because of how important football is to all these schools, there's going to be another Jordan statue in North Carolina, and they may take down the first one.
Air Jordan.
Write that down. My sources are telling me that.
Okay, your sources combined with my sources. I'm going to go back here and do real journalism, unlike this Peabody Pablo Torre finds out guy,
Oh,
because
please.
I will say UNC is denying Pablo's report. He will come on in moments and tell us what's up. I just want everyone to know that we broke this news right here, that this was Bill Belichick leaving an apartment with the Ring doorbell cam. We did real journalism around here.
Great audio on this.
This is
We did not break this news. We did not secure this video.
We did not. No, that's correct.
Babs on the mic
That's
did.
correct.
Yeah.
That's right. Babs on the mic did, and we borrowed it. But I
hear that?
I think we were among the first to introduce it to others as we're pretty sure this is Bill Belichick, and it's not just Bill Belichick. It's clearly Bill Belichick.
I can confirm.
And what he's doing there is the Tibbs workout. Have you heard Brian Scalabrine say what the Tibbs workout in? Still goes into the weight room. What do you think he benches? What do you think
A
Tibbs
lot.
benches?
20-year-olds?
I would say 260.
Man, I love this audio.
I can't wait to know.
That's a 315 guy if I've ever seen it.
You think so?
That's a 315 guy if I've
wait,
ever seen. That's
how
3
much does he
plates.
weigh?
That's 3 plates on each side, 3 caddies on each side. Tibbs, all he's got to do is this. He got short arms, right? That's
Yeah,
why people
he
with short
does.
arms bench so well. You just got to go right to the chest, right to the chest, right
Short
to the chest.
people really have a crazy advantage in the weight room. Like,
They
it's
really do.
unfair.
They do. They
you get
build
swole
muscle.
like that.
They build muscle
You
like
don't have to
crazy.
go as far on anything. Squats, too. It's
Frustrating.
crazy.
It's very
It's
frustrating.
so annoying.
They're better running backs.
Got cursed with these goddamn long limbs. What am I supposed to do with them? Jeez Louise.
Forgive me because I did not. You said Tibbs isn't tall, and I think of him as 6 foot. I don't think of him as short. I think of him as short compared to the people he's standing next to. I think he is 6 feet tall. I think. Do I have this wrong? I know he's.
I have him stocky
I know
and
he's
like short limbs.
All right,
The
put
LBs.
it on the poll. Hold on a second. At Le Batard Show, is Tibbs 6 feet tall? He benches 3, according to Brian Scalabrine. Brian Scalabrine is the source on this. He does a great show every morning on NBA radio with Frank Isola. Brian Scalabrine reports that Tibbs goes into the weight room, does 315 10 times, throws it back up, leaves, no core, no nothing else. That's what he does. That's the Tibbs workout. And it's clearly the Belichick workout.
All chest.
Thank you, Tony. That's exactly what I was
All
saying.
chest, baby.
Yes, that's it.
I mean,
Yeah,
there-
but again,
there are residual benefits for the triceps.
Tom Thibodeau is 6'2". Kayvon Thibodeau is 6'5".
Thank you. That's also very large.
Both got recruited to play for Oregon by Mario Cristobal.
The funny thing about the size of basketball players, I was telling Valerie this. We had really good seats one time close to the court, and she was asking me something about the small, quick guy. And I'm like, the small, quick guy's taller than me. And she's like, that's not true. And I'm like, no, he is. It's like people think Steve Kerr's not big. Steve Kerr's like almost the size of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
Didn't Dwayne Wade just do like a commercial or something where he was like, yeah, that's short people? Because everyone saw him and they're like, Dwayne Wade's so short. He's like 6'4".
But I think you just did that to poor Thibodeau. I don't think of him as short. You made me underestimate him because he's 6'2". That's almost bigger than you, and you were making fun of his height.
Listed 6'2", and he's, like.
with shoes on.
Yeah, mid-60s now. We're shrinking.
Like you would think Steph Curry's small. He's like really tall.
Yes.
How old do you guys think Tom Thibodeau is? You'd be surprised. How old do you think he is?
62.
I would say 59.
Uh-huh.
I think that he's been made ragged by the sport and lived the single life for long enough. I'm going to say 30 years in basketball will make him look 75, but he's 57.
Any other guesses? No? Okay, he's 67 years old.
Whoa!
Yeah.
He looks great.
He looks great for 67.
Looks
Yeah.
67
Looks really
for
good.
40 years.
Time to come
Yeah.
home, though. He's got to shave the head.
Okay.
No. It's the secret to
No.
looking younger than 67.
Yeah.
If he shaves his head, then he'll look
The
every
secret
bit.
is just go do 315 10 times and
That's
leave
it.
the
All
weight room.
chest, baby.
I'm sorry. Is
Don't
anyone
even worry
looking at
about
him saying, like, I got to get on that guy's plan?
Put it on
No
the
one's
poll
doing that.
at Le Batard Show. Is anyone looking at Tibbs and saying, I've got to get on that guy's plan? Please keep that sound behind me for the rest of the show of just that creaking.
It's my favorite audio.
It seems gratuitous.
Let's keep doing that to Pablo and see. You know what? Don't tell Pablo that we're going to do it and see if he points out at any point, hey, what's that sound, guys? And we can say it's Bill Belichick clearly now in retrospect leaving Jordan's apartment. She may have been 19. Pablo Torre finds out. Are there birds?
Yeah,
It's a beautiful day.
It's a morning bird. It's a good morning bird up
It's
there.
really early.
That felt like CBS Sunday morning show. It's a little creek. There's a woodpecker over there. And also listen to
Hey,
the
now.
bird.
One little bird out there.
The thing about Tatum, I guess you could say it's an indictment because I could also say that team is so well built and
What's
wins
the ruling?
and wins by so much that there aren't very moments to be had at the end of games. Like they don't need them to win, and it's like it's almost one of the greatest compliments I can give if they weren't ruining basketball by being better at math than everybody.
Yeah, there was a lot of threes that went in. It's tough to watch when so many threes go in. Why do so many threes go in now? Why do so many threes get taken now? Someone needs to do something about this.
Do you guys understand, like, one of the funniest thing when I'm talking about D'Antoni, there's some great sound there from his brother. See if you can find it, about the stupidity of how we were playing basketball for years. Get Patrick Ewing to try and get a contested shot that's worth 2 instead of taking the more valuable shot that's 3. It's how Pat Riley won for years. It was always in the post. It was Kareem. It was Zoe. It was Patrick Ewing. And then the whole sport changes, and at least in part in 2010 because I can make these pterodactyls be able to guard everybody, switch with everybody, and then just be such specimens that I make everyone 6'9", and I throw a Draymond out there who's better at defense. Like, Draymond is to defense what Rodman is to rebound, savant. I throw that in your mix, and all of a sudden, if I circle him with just the unbelievable shooters, I'm going to dominate the evolution for 10 years.
There was that one season, I think it was 2013, with the Heat, where for at least the first half of the season, they were like against shooting threes at all. LeBron wasn't shooting threes. Wade wasn't shooting threes. Remember, it led to the one game when my friend did a wager. He was in courtside. LeBron shot all the threes that game. Anyway, I do wonder. You've told this story before. You've told this story before. And I do wonder, like, if we were to ask Eric Spoelstra, great coach, super smart, like, what would he say if we said to him, back then in 2013, why didn't you know that maybe shooting lots of threes instead of all mid-range shots? Like, why didn't we know this earlier?
I understand how everyone can be fooled by patterns and what they're used to and not wanting to change. I mean, I'm seeing in football all the time. The sport gets revolutionized by when the Buccaneers have Jameis going 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions, they finish 7-9. When they get Tom Brady and eliminate the interceptions, championship. And Brady's still great, but absurd that would happen in its 40s. Like, the team was clearly good enough, and they exploited the market, the market on turnovers, because Aaron Rodgers won an MVP by saying we'll have 5 turnovers a year from this position. And then late in games, when you need to win for some reason, Aaron Rodgers falls apart, wherever it is that James Harden falls apart. But in Boston, they have a machine that for 18 months has been, ahead of the game, dominant. Drew Holiday was really important. Porzingis, that machine, 53s a game, is going to play the D'Antoni way. But OKC caught up. And you're going to need to beat Shea in moments with Tatum. Like, that's how that's going to look later on. OKC just showed you how to beat Denver. They're the only thing that can make Jokic look like that. There's nothing else in the world that makes Jokic look like that. And it's just because it's feeding on him. It's young, and it's feeding on an elephant that's trying to carry the entirety of championship basketball. When you saw what it did, these guys broke up after 4 years. Durant leaves and hates Draymond. LeBron and Wade aren't going to work together anymore. We don't want to play together. The Jokic era is right now. He's tired. Because how could he not be? He wants to be with his horses. He's playing more games than anybody else. And that thing's going to be fed on by the young people because that's how competition works. It's fascinating. it probably goes without saying that I was a spectacular dork as a young boy, and one of the places where I connected with my grandfather, who did not speak much English, is around baseball. And so he would take me to the Omni Mall, and we would go get Bill James baseball abstracts because I
making this
became
dork situation worse.
fascinated by numbers and how we do measurements in sports. So
leave that out when the girls come over, right?
I started with I was a spectacular dork, and then I made it worse. But way to seize on the moment, guys. Didn't leave you that opening at all.
Chasing different types of BJs.
The Bill James baseball abstract is something that taught me to want to read Michael Lewis in all forms, whether he was talking about business or baseball, and learn with Moneyball how we do measurements.
Woof.
Yes, I know. Reading, terrible.
Not getting better.
This is getting worse
I
as
know.
we go.
Again,
My goodness
dork,
gracious.
unpopular, all-boys school, too much reading. Yes, I was the worst versions of Pablo Torre. Didn't fit in anywhere.
He also went to an all-boys school. People go to all-boys schools. Weirdos.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Are people who go to all-boys schools weirdos?
I was too busy beeping 80085.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you say that, but the University of Miami is run by Columbus boys. And
Well, they're the dumb weirdos.
I don't think it's their choice, those boys, to go to the all. I think the choice is made for them.
yes, in my case, and in the case of many Latin kids, that choice is made for you.
Grow a pair. Tell your parents, I'm not going to
That's
an
right.
all-boys school.
I did.
Didn't Billy go to Belen?
Yeah. That's a joke.
Billy, do you have
But they hate Columbus.
do you have any FIU sound from the weekend as you are conquering FIU, returning to conquer FIU sports? Do we have any sound from your shenanigans over the weekend?
I was told we'll have it. So, unfortunately, my escapades as a Panther broadcaster are done for this season because the homestands are done, and now FIU travels on to see if they're going to go on a run here in the Conference USA Championship Tournament. They have to take care of business with Sam
But
Houston
what
State
were the
first.
stories? Because Juju was insisting that I ask you about these stories. He wouldn't tell me himself what it is that you did this weekend with FIU, but he was saying that I needed to ask you about it because it was good and it was funny, and I don't know what you did.
Oh, I thought you were an A1 listener to my broadcast, Dan. Jesus, what a way to find out. Day after Mother's Day. Not a nice day to find out, but... Anywho, nothing, no stories. I don't know if Ron McGill's on this week or next week, but I do have a movement that I've been trying to start, which is to get a Panther preserve on the FIU campus right behind the right field wall, which a lot of people are telling me is not a good idea to have live Florida
it's a
Panthers
terrible
there.
idea.
Well, why is that?
I mean, are you saying because it's the Everglades and it's swampy and you can have an area that
There's
has
a lush
breeding
like
panthers?
Like preserve.
There's like a lush area
That's
there
captivity.
where
It's still cages.
I gotta tell you something. I've seen where they keep the Panthers at the zoo. This would be night and day.
Yeah, but that's
Night
also
and
not
day.
pretending to be a preserve.
What do you mean? Well, they have a preserve on campus. They just don't have any Panthers. I'd like to give them room to roam if possible. I'm trying. Do you guys not? I'm sorry.
We will
Do
talk
you guys
to
not
McGill
want
about
to
that
aid
tomorrow.
endangered
Wait,
species?
Don't
as I
people
do?
jog around that preserve?
As you know, no one cares about Florida
It
Panthers.
sounds
more
like
than
an Adam McKay skit, a Funny or Die skit. You know, let's put a preserve out there, and all of a sudden, pit bulls being mauled by a wild animal.
I thought about Adam McKay today, Dan, because Mike was telling me about some rain, something that's
Atmospheric
going on.
river.
Yeah, he's all about this atmospheric river.
Meteorological nerds are delighted at what's happening down here in South Florida right now. It's something that's pretty uncommon for those that live on the southeast.
Yeah.
Sounds made up.
Atmospheric river. It's
You're
where-
the problem, Zazo.
Are you a climate denier?
You're the problem.
No, but I mean, atmospheric river.
Sounds like baloney. You're right.
It does sound like baloney. It's something that you would just kind of laugh at people from
Oh,
LA
the river's
when
up
they
there in the
said,
atmosphere.
Yeah,
You
guys are
atmospheric
the
river.
problem.
It's just a
Sure,
rainstorm.
buddy.
But no, it's actually higher in the stratosphere where the storm forms.
I'm sure.
And it's a constant flow of
So
water.
a
vapor.
river in the sky is what you're trying to sell. me on.
Exactly.
That's right.
Not buying
This isn't just regular everyday rain that's going on. This is an occurrence that's never happened before. Mike
Atmospheric
was telling me
river.
usually happens on the West Coast. You know what? Show me your carbon footprint, the two of you, because you're the problem right now, denying that this is happening and denying that your actions are causing it.
People were asking me how did this this whole thing start with the atmospheric river. I'm like, I don't know, climate change. So, I mean, we got to look inward, folks.
Yeah. Starts with us.
We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. We're all gonna die. The sky seems to be falling, and we're all
don't think we're going to die from an atmospheric river.
We all are going to die, by the way.
Yeah, we
just
are,
letting you
but
know.
it won't be the atmospheric river.
But
This is
imagine
actually
an
quite
atmospheric river and the ocean's rising. I mean, you're getting hit from both sides.
pleasant. I don't think it'll ever reach those heights.
It's funny to laugh about right up until it's happening to you.
I would think that of all the things that could possibly kill us right now, atmospheric rivers
Low.
are very low on the list.
Low, yeah, I know, but I
made up.
remember when we reacted to fire tornadoes this way. What does that mean, an atmospheric river? What does that mean, a fire tornado? What's a
sounds
fire
scarier than it
tornado?
is.
Hurricane season's right around the corner,
Yes,
friends.
it's coming.
Also, carbon monoxide, the silent killer.
Yeah.
Earlier than ever, hurricane season will arrive, I'm sure, like it did last year, earlier than ever. But what I was saying about the D'Antonis and the changing of the sport, and where I was a dork, I don't know if the rest of you feel this way about it, but it really has been interesting to watch ridiculously as my generation of players says, you know, there's a chess game to basketball that is really interesting if you love that these aren't just guys running around out there, that this is Cirque du Soleil of these guys who are doing drills all day so that they can be super precise to get an open 16-footer. If you like that, and then just watch a machine take it out to the fringes because it started with James Harden, but he couldn't close. He would have beaten – they were better at it than Durant and Curry and Thompson because they gamed the – and so what I'm asking you guys is, don't you find that part interesting? Because I'm endlessly fascinated by it.
I did. I found it interesting when it was happening. And then I found it interesting as teams tried to be better at it than one another. Now the team that's worst at it is better than the team that was best at it a decade ago, and it's not unlike what happened with baseball, which is like they cracked the code, they broke the sport, everybody started doing this, and then baseball realized we got to do something about this because it makes the sport less interesting. I don't watch basketball for math. I watch basketball for individual matchups and drama.
It was super interesting in baseball, and it still is in baseball, but then it became, all right, it's either home runs or strikeouts. And that's not so interesting.
Okay, but they fixed that too, right? It's always got to change. We got to change for the attention spans. We can talk, man, we've been talking for 2 seasons. Are they harming the sport? Nah, if the games are good and you get to watch Lions feed on Jokic, nah. You remember that stuff. When it'll give you moments all over the place. And Indiana's going to challenge that team. And I'd just be curious. I'd like Tatum to have one of those moments because it was weird to me. Boston with this champion, because we all kind of know this thing about it, that, oh, that was easy. And now Boston gets to swagger around as they're entitled to title town because they're Boston. And it's like, yeah, but your beautiful, languid Ferrari of a star, I will say it again, 3rd best player in the league, empirically probably, close to it. If you don't believe it, whatever. Like, great player undisputably, not saying that he's not. But I haven't actually seen him kill his prey. James Harden, 50 points, semifinals, game 7. That's not where championships are won. Like, I understand that he's great and he's better than James Harden. And he did score 50 in a game 7 and not taking it away from him. But also, he doesn't have a lot of killer moments that any of us remember.
Nope.
He's also had a lot of opportunities in the playoffs to do this. Like, it would stand to reason that he'd get a good game 7. He's played in an abnormal amount of them for someone so young in his career.
When you go into the big playoff game, you're the fan of the other team. Are you afraid of Jason Tatum?
No, I want him shooting.
You know who you're afraid of? Derek White.
Yes. Very scared of Derek
terrified of Derek White.
Okay, wait, though, I wouldn't go that far. I would not go that far. I'm still scared of Jason Tatum. He can always get his 40 efficiently. If they ran it through Derek White would not be doing what Tatum is. Don't do that.
Man,
come on.
Derek White was their 2nd best player in those NBA Finals.
Derek White has a moment you remember.
Derek White kicks our ass.
The putback.
I'm not worried about Jason Tatum.
I was catatonic after that game.
You guys are insulting Jason Tatum by saying Derek White might be better than him. Come on.
I think he's more important to their success, and I think it's pretty irrefutable who turned their fortunes around, and it wasn't Jason Tatum. Look, man, I'm just saying what you're saying. You're saying he's got to show you something. I'm right there with you, pal.
I'm not even saying that he's got to show me something. I'm simply pointing out to everybody, hey, you know this thing here, right, that makes this feel a note off, even though it's a champion. Because this is the thing we were saying last week. Doc Rivers, forevermore in that city, is a champion. But that's not how he's going to be remembered. Like, you have to have the moments to be remembered. That's how it works. It can't be, you just run through people, and no one can say, what did you do in those series other than be the best player on the fastest? You drove the fastest car?
Well, and going back to the math, this also is what hurts Jason Tatum with the moments, because no matter how good you think the Boston Celtics are, if they make threes, they win. If they miss threes, they lose.
Except against OKC, I'd like to see it. Like, I'd like to see what that looks like, because I think when we talk about what's Boston going to do, these things are so cutthroat, man. Competition's crazy. The next team's always out there building a better thing, and OKC was ahead of Angel. And no, we'll collect the draft picks. We'll collect everybody, lock them up long term, and not let them leave for 7 years, and see how that goes if we get some people that aren't Harden and Durant, because everyone's fallen in love with not the draft picks.
Do they have a chance tonight, Oklahoma City? Like, with all the picks, do they have a chance that it could land on number one and they get to keep it? Are they in that game
They
tonight
have
for
so
Cooper
many.
Flag?
They have so many picks, and they are so young, and they are hungry, and they are fun.
They do not have an option for this lottery, this go around.
And they are a team that could absolutely beat Boston by saying, "Do you know how good our perimeter defense is? Like,
Historic.
Are you aware of how good we are at defense? And Pritchard, you want to keep shooting from out there? Okay, I see you shooting 43% all season. Has to be the most beloved Celtic there's been since Larry Bird. Has to be.
He's a good player. He scares me. He is a good player. He would scare me.
He's a great player.
Yeah. He's a good player.
You can argue that if both Oklahoma City and Boston make it to the NBA Finals, that would be the toughest test in 2 seasons for Boston in the playoffs.
Is that what the NBA wants? Boston, Oklahoma City?
For sure.
Is that the matchup?
For sure.
You think so?
For sure.
Oh.
SGA, the young core of the Thunder going against the Celtics trying to go for a repeat. Like, that's what the NBA wants. The thing is, you look
they
at
want Golden State. They want that Bay Area.
No way. Golden State's dead in the water.
The NBA wants San Francisco, Oakland as a TV market in there ahead of
TV market. Okay.
You want the team that's always been there, like Golden State and the remnants of Steph. You absolutely want there. But look, we can talk about that series in a second, because I'd like to see Edwards take it from Steph. I'd like to watch that. I don't want Steph on the sidelines making Jimmy Butler's Warriors look like Jimmy Butler's Heat. It's
very similar now.
Offense is going to be very hard to come by if you don't have a guy riding around on a magic carpet out there. Like, I mean,
just shooting from everywhere. Here, three.
No, but so the whole thing is asinine, right?
It's got to be an interesting experience for Jimmy too, right? Because he is also understanding, like, oh man, the best player being out sucks. It sucks. I'm the best player again? What? That was a lot to go through to just be the best player again and have to do everything. This is hard.
And then the other guy always quits when Steph isn't playing in the game. He gets thrown out, or he picks up too many fouls.
Haters paradise if they get eliminated.
Can I ask you guys, I feel like this part is so confusing to me, because I've been watching sports for a long time, and generally speaking, when a Dwayne Wade bursts on the scene, you see it and you feel it. Anthony Edwards is a size that I can't really get my head around how athletic he is. Like, he is 6'3", and somehow in not the realm of Russell Westbrook, who you can tell has more fast twitch muscle fiber than everyone else, Anthony Edwards' athleticism, to me, Zaz, is confusing, because I'm not used to seeing a 6'3" player play like that. Like, maybe Wade, but he seems like he's more athletic than Wade.
Oh, he's stronger.
But I'm just talking about the leap. I'm talking about his jump feels different than other people jumping.
I don't know that I agree with the Wade part. He's definitely stronger, bigger than Wade was. But, man, like, Wade's first 7-8 years.
Explosive, but it didn't look like Anthony Edwards.
I think that's because of his physique. I think it's because he is bigger than Wade was.
You think it's a muscular thing?
I think it was more satisfying
stronger
to watch Wade play the way that he did, just because he felt smaller.
Yeah.
It felt like he was getting higher up in the air because of...
There's some dunks that Anthony Edwards has. You're like, how did he take off from there and do that on a guy who's 17?
Well, how is he still rising, right? By the way, Denver won Game 3. Jokic 0 for 10 from 3. Just won that game.
Exhausted. Tired.
Just wants to get
3
to the
years of
horses.
just trying to.
Jamal Murray.
Danny
Aaron
Glover.
Gordon, God, make a shot. Michael Porter Jr., your shoulder. Up on my shoulders.
You know,
He's just trying to get to a pension.
It's such a funny thing for us to watch him like a
Oh, God, Westbrook. Where's Malone?
He's a plow horse. He's tired. He wants to get back to the nice piece of Serbia where he can watch his horses race. They won't let him stop working. And finally, OKC is like, you know what, Jokic? We'll make you go 8 for 25. And he's like, I just want horse.
All right, put
Two
that
for
in the suite.
18. 2 for 18 in the
I
last
just
2
want
from 3.
horse. I just want horse.
I got scared because I didn't know whether I was allowed to do his accent or not, or whether that would be some sort of
Play on for me.
racist
You gotta be all in.
No, that,
Confidence, Dano.
I
What are we
lost
talking about?
confidence
You're
in the
going
middle
Balkans,
of
you gotta be all
You
in.
know what? I didn't know.
It's like Dion's yellow suit.
And
Just
I
do
wanted-
it.
for Santa Anita.
If you're gonna be racist, you might as well go full
I
racist,
wanted to be
right?
authentic though and get his voice close to right, and I felt like I was lapsing into like old Dracula territory.
It did sound like Dracula.
So I started leaking confidence on the first syllable. Yeah, not that Dracula though. That was a funny confident Dracula. Mine was not confident. Yeah, I was falling apart.
You want to try again?
No, never again. Never again. It's a very vulnerable thing.
It's interesting to watch Jokic miss shots because there's nothing about his process that looks different. It's just like they're either going in or they're not. Like if you just watch that game, you're like, well, of course he missed it. Look at his lackadaisical approach to the game. But he could go 10 for 10 the next time, and it won't look any different.
Billy, I was surprised to hear you come in and say today, and you quoted Bill Parcells. You said, as Bill Parcells said, and this is how male this world is.
I don't like how this is being presented already. I'm not sure where we're going.
Objection
but I don't like,
already, Your
I
Honor.
don't like how this is. That Judge?
I wrote down, you are what your record
Objection.
is. Is that what you said?
No.
Wow, he has another saying?
Overruled. You may continue.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Judge Zaslav.
With prejudice, though.
I need some
Always.
help.
Duna.
I need some help from you judging with prejudice here. Bill Parcells would famously say, don't tell me about the labor, show me the baby.
Yeah.
And Billy was quoting Parcells as it related to Pat Riley today.
Yeah, it's not crazy. I mean, we talked about it. Riley, land one of these whales, or don't land one of these whales. Stop talking about all this whale hunting that you're doing. Also, you shouldn't be hunting whales, but that's a story for another day. I'm here trying to have preserves for animals. Riley's out here trying to kill them. That's not what we're talking about.
Antetokounmpo is available now. That's the big story in sports, right? It bangs against even the hockey player. Hockey and basketball aren't in the third round yet, so this bangs against it, and it will take over the entirety of the news stream. One of the giants is available.
Well, you got to figure Aaron Rodgers makes the decision today now, right? Like, got to get back in the mix here.
You know he's secretly married?
Yeah, but then he takes off the ring when people find out.
He's trying to do the thing, and they did like a segment on McAfee to try to get the people talking, and no one cares.
Yeah. Can I ask you guys a question? Are we at a point with the Heat now that the Giannis news is out that you're disappointed if the Heat do in fact get Kevin Durant?
I'm not ready to be hurt again.
So you're saying they don't get Giannis, but they get KD. Am I disappointed?
Yeah,
because
you're like, ooh, that's not the whale.
Like, what if, like, if the Heat? Okay, so the Heat can have KD today.
Yeah.
Or you don't, and you have a 50% chance of
Give me
getting Giannis.
Not 50.
KD.
1 in 29,
Well,
according
either
to
you
Shams.
get him or you don't. That's 50-50.
I want KD. I want the runaway bride.
Good math.
They need to close
A
this
couple
loop.
years late, KD.
I'd give it to me. Give me something different.
What about trading possibly for the giant from Denver? I just want horse. I just want horse.
You can't afford. You can't afford. No. You can't afford it.
He's not an option.
He's not an option.
I just want horse.
I don't think getting KD for the Heat is like a bad. I know that
would
people
love
are
it.
like, oh, like he's, this isn't the same KD. This is the end of his career. Yeah, but like
He's so
he's one of the all-time greats in the
I just
NBA. Like
want
he's a
horse.
legendary player that will be, tied to your franchise forever. Like
I just want horse.
Guaranteed KD today over 50% chance getting Giannis.
I just want horse.
Give me KD. Give me KD. Give me one of the game's greatest to wear that uniform and have him in a Heat uniform. You have Wade, you have LeBron, you have Durant, you have Shaq. I mean, what a legacy.
I just want horse.
What assets do you give up, though? Are we keeping Tyler? Are we keeping Bam?
You're keeping Bam for sure. Yes.
I just want horse.
Just him is probably not good enough to win, though. So what difference does it really make? What assets you keep or get rid of?
We get to see KD. That's cool.
That's the thing. Is like here's the hypothetical scenario. You get Kevin Durant. You're gonna be maybe a 7 seed.
It's an improvement.
That's the option here. Do you take it?
I just want horse.
Do you take one of the all-time greats to wear your roster, knowing best case you're a 7 seed?
I'd hold out for Giannis. I'm going 50-50.
Oh, boy.
I'll go 50% chance against Giannis.
Oh, boy.
I'm trying to go big here. Everybody knows, go big or go home. I'm waiting for Giannis. 50% chance Giannis.
What's
I'm
your
holding
offer?
out.
I just want horse.
What's your offer? Go ahead.
It's whatever you want.
I'll play Milwaukee.
It's whatever you want.
Yeah,
I'll play a guy
Milwaukee.
trying to get Giannis.
It's Milwaukee. Anything you want.
What do I get to keep?
Anything you want. It's anything you want. It's
Okay, but I don't think that's good enough
I
for
just
me.
want. It might not be. It might not be.
If I'm Milwaukee, I'm getting a couple of calls.
What do you want, Mike? How about that?
I want
just
anything that I want.
This is how it's
Just one
gonna.
horse.
This is how the conversation is gonna start with Pat Riley. Ring, ring.
Hello, it's Pat.
No, I'm Pat. I'm
Why
Pat.
do
You're
you
Milwaukee.
sound sleepy?
No, I'm Pat. I'm Pat. You're Milwaukee.
What time is it?
No, you're Milwaukee. You're Milwaukee.
Jill, did you see this orb?
All right, ready?
Yep. I'm Minnesota.
You're-
I mean Milwaukee.
You're Milwaukee.
I
I'm Milwaukee.
just
already.
want horse. I won't sign off on this.
Yeah.
You don't even know what we're doing.
Hello.
We'd like to give you Terry Rozier for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Oh.
I just want horse.
Where'd Dan go?
He won't sign off on it. So.
I'm signing off.
He left.
Yeah, he left.
Yeah. All right. Try
15
again.
minutes.
Just don't leave with Terry Rozier.
Yo, it's just a first offer, man.
Wait, hang on. Let me
It
commit
is
to
the first
bit.
offer. You got to feel everybody out and see, all right,
Yeah.
oh, okay, you don't want
Okay.
Terry Rozier. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want horse.
Milwaukee Bucks.
Hello.
Hey.
This is all-time great and legend Patrick Riley.
That is disrespectful.
Fumbled it, too.
It would never happen.
Okay.
I know your
Let's try
crap
it.
offers, Pat.
Because there's no way the
Milwaukee
Bucks pick up
Bucks.
a phone that has a cord.
It's the Bucks.
It's Milwaukee. You never know.
It's
Don't do
the
landlines
Bucks.
anymore.
Hello.
Hey.
You have some unpaid toll fines that you really need to resolve now.
Representative. Representative. Representative.
Hello. Welcome to.
I just want horse.
Ring.
It's the Bucks.
What if I could tell you that you could leave today with Alec Burks and Kashad Johnson?
You called the Tampa Bay Bucks. I'm sorry.
I just want horse.
Ring. Ring. Interested in Drew Smith? He could be yours today. All it's going to cost you is Giannis Antetokounmpo. You also have to take Terry Rozier.
Stop calling. Just stop. Just stop calling.
Hayward Highsmith?
Daryl Morey. Give me something else.
I just want
They don't
horse.
have the Godfather offer that he could offer isn't good enough as other people's Godfather offers. Past his prime, Bam Adebayo, a Luter and
you keep
Uriah
saying past his
Tyler
prime.
Hero.
Why do you keep doing that? What do they keep doing past his prime?
You want to bet that Bam Adebayo's best basketball is ahead of him?
He's got some great years ahead of him.
I would bet you that this is who he is.
Okay, not good enough.
But, okay, but that's not past your
for me.
prime. Huh?
No, yeah, it is. He was viewed as an ascending talent, and now he's viewed as a finished
He's
product.
27.
Didn't he take a step back this year? So, like, now you're offering me a Bam Adebayo that is a depreciating asset.
I don't agree.
He's
You
appreciating.
think he's
I think
an appreciating
this is who
asset?
he is. You're a player in your prime. You don't have to continue on the ascent if you're in your
He had
prime.
a bad year
this
for
is
him.
who you are.
He had a bad year for him.
Giannis is still in his prime,
For
right?
sure, but you're being mad disrespectful of a really good player.
I'm
Mike.
not saying. Look, he has been a good player. I see a depreciating asset that you're out the gates
It's
with.
not yet. It's not.
He's
look,
negotiating, Dan. That's what it is.
The sport uses up your body not so young. It's not allowed that Giannis is allowed to be in his prime with that mileage, and Bam is spent at 27 with that mileage.
Like, you don't think Giannis is still getting better, do you?
He just had his best year.
Okay, but this is who he is.
I'm sorry. I'm the GM for the Bucks, baby. You got to convince me.
He's negotiating. That's why he keeps calling him a depreciating asset.
Have you met
We
my
gotta
friend
bump
Art?
him.
Davion
You're-
Mitchell's off the table.
You're on the
right?
phone with Art right now. Art of deal. Wow. You're losing. I'm taking your lunch money.
AOD.
So this is the big story in sports today, and I will tell you that what should be the big story in
Panthers,
sports
right?
is how terrible the Colorado Rockies are.
Dude, they lost a game 21-0.
Well, hold on. It's not the worst of it. Do you guys remember when I told you last year that the Chicago White Sox were the single worst team in baseball I'd ever seen? And then by the end of the season, they were the worst team in the history of baseball. That team started 11-28. The Rockies are 6-33. The Rockies are 6-33. This is one of, keep in mind what we're watching. The Detroit Lions no longer are a laughingstock. The LA Clippers no longer are a laughingstock. The Colorado Rockies have existed 30 years. They've won 0 division titles. They've got 10 total playoff wins. They've had 21 losing seasons. And this season, they're minus 134 already in runs. Like 21-0's not that uncommon for them.
Are you counting the 21-0?
I'm joking about 21-0 is uncommon, but this is what you're watching is not a Major League Baseball team. It's not in any way a Major League Baseball team. Major League Baseball teams play close games. They are just getting slaughtered.
I was on ESPN yesterday. I can't tell you last time I talked Major League Baseball on ESPN. We're in the middle of a basketball conversation, and we have the chat going on where I get to communicate with the producers, and just literally out of nowhere, because I saw it for the first time, I swear, I put in the chat, the Rockies are 6-33? What is that shit? Just left it at that.
Well, I have good news for everybody here. They won yesterday, so they're now 7-33. And their run differential, boom, skyrockets to minus 128. Big game yesterday.
What's
for
the
Rockies.
second worst team in the league run differential this early in the season?
Could be the Marlins.
I don't want to say.
Did you know that Bud Black was our manager?
Could be the Marlins.
Moreover, did you know
Don't
that
wanna
it's
say.
been Bud Black since 2017?
He was fired immediately after 21-0. Honestly, once they tumbled into the teens, they should have gone out onto the field and
But
fired
it's
him.
like he had crazy job security.
Come with me, bud.
He under his.
Did you see who was peeking around there? He was peeking around there.
Tell me it's Clint Hurdle again.
He's peeking around there. They brought him in for some sort of consultant,
Luminary.
something, and then they got rid of Bud Black, and then they moved, their third base coach is now the manager, and boom, guess who's the new bench coach?
That's great.
Clint Hurdle.
That's
I
great.
think I could be wrong here. I think we may have a situation where a team fires a manager twice in a season.
No, you got to give Hurdle the opportunity to catch Bud Black.
That's why I'm saying you fire him twice, so you
Has
make
that
Clint
never
Hurdle the manager
happened?
again. I don't know.
Has what never happened?
That a team fires a manager or a coach twice
I mean, Billy Martin was fired.
No, I'm saying two managers in the same
in the
season.
same season.
in the same season. Whew.
Be amazing.
I want to explore something with you guys because I have just asked Chris Cody to find me the looks like for Clint Hurdle, one of the great and famous looks like characters in the history of our show. I believe that Clint Hurdle would be Adam Silver is obviously Mount Rushmore in our looks like game, but Clint Hurdle had an sort of a bloated orange baseball way about him that was super leathery and connotes our favorite time in baseball, when Clint Hurdle can go from being a hustling, gritty player to being a bite-your-face-off manager, and the sport can turn him orange along the way. Tell me I'm wrong, Roy.
No, you're not wrong.
So Chris Cody is looking for this right now, but I want to go back to Dan D'Antoni because I've wandered far astray here. Chris, stop for a moment. You didn't find it quite fast enough. So let's go to Dan D'Antoni saying from his brother Mike's perch of this is how we should change the game, but we coaches were kind of idiots.
I know you guys take a lot of threes. Did you feel like there maybe wasn't quite enough working the ball into the paint early on?
You're old school, aren't you? You know what? Do you watch the NBA ever? Yeah. Well, you see those top three teams, Golden State, do they work it in? Hey, my brother at Houston, biggest turnaround ever, do they work it in? Listen, that game, in my opinion, obviously, gone. You go get any computer and run what the best shots are, they'll tell you a post-up's the worst shot in basketball. So if you want to run down, try to get it in there to shoot over somebody, then you're beating analytics. The best shot in basketball is that corner three. Next best shot in basketball is any other three. That's you go get it and read them out. Other than free throws, which we try to do, get to the foul line, because you score 1.5 points every time you go to the foul line in the pros. And it just trickled down. It's the same thing for college kids.
Were you able to sort of lull them into?
I haven't finished my dang on analytics story. And you got to go to bed or something? You're going out? But you score layups. If you can get to a layup and it's clean, it's not one that's highly contested. It's 1.8. It's 1.3 from that corner, 1.27. You know what a post-up is? Over top, a guy standing like this, 0.78. So you run your team down there, and we'll see how long you stay with teams that can play the other way.
I found one head coach in the history of pro sports that got fired by the same team twice in 1 year. John Gruden, but not that John Gruden. A John Gruden from junior hockey. That's right. Yeah, there was a John Gruden of the OHL, the Ontario Hockey League, and he was fired twice as head coach by the Flint Freebirds in the 2015-16 season.
So he had to have been fired the first time, and they were like, it's a mistake.
There was a conflict with the owner, and then they brought him back, a mistake, and then he got fired for real. For reals.
So the mistake wasn't a mistake.
Earlier in the show, I mentioned the Omni Mall. It's been closed for 25 years. There are any number of things that make me feel old these days. One of the things that makes me feel old is when I'm referencing a bit that Chris Cody doesn't remember, that Zaslow would remember, but Chris Cody doesn't remember because do you, Zaslow, remember how much fun we had delighting in action star Steven Seagal's singing career?
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember any of the names of any of his hit songs off the top of your head?
No.
It's not the easiest.
No.
Well, this is one of them. He was furious with someone and he said, talk to my ass. Now, here's this B-roll of Steven Seagal in Russia. And when you mentioned Bud Black, I was thinking, look at how his face is painted in order to keep up the old Steven Seagal image. Put that up there now of being a pioneering action hero. He's got the Don Nelson belly that he's trying to conceal with the blousey clothes. That's a signature move of mine. Wow. And his entire head seems to be painted, and his goatee seems to be painted as he makes his way to Russia. And zig, while others are zagging, man bun, I'm going to go see Putin.
I'm not certain. Could this be a Boris Sanchez studio lighting thing with him?
I would feel terrible if that were the case.
He was like the top action star.
Now it's Liam Neeson, 70 years old. We do action stars poorly in this country, except for Tom Cruise, also 70 years old.
Man, you know about Under Siege? That's a good movie.
Look at Seagal right there. Look at him. Mike Ryan, I want an investigation here. What is painted and what is not painted on on Steven Seagal in Russia? I want Mike Ryan to do his investigation and tell me, what do you believe that this is Steven Seagal's real hair and the real color of his goatee?
Yeah, that's legit. Man, he's doing things the right way.
Wow. That man is bloated.
Boy.
He is. Tell me I'm wrong.
Could have a medical situation. You don't know that.
Exactly right. This is just wild. Roy comes out and he says, guess what? I was not a member of the media after all. I was a fan just getting free tickets, and now he's just taking
free
pot
tickets,
shots
my
at
ass.
people.
I'm credentialed. What are you talking about? Free tickets.
That's free tickets.
Well, you
to
are
me.
biased, though.
Very
And
defensive.
you know what? I got it. You know what?
Yeah, he
Minor
got your ass
penalty,
there.
2 minutes, asshole.
Come on, asshole.
You're not a real
I'm telling
journalist.
the truth.
You're not a real journalist. You're biased. You've been rooting for the Panthers. You're like, I have a credential. Well, it's tainted by your lack of objectivity.
I'm a real journalist.
Thank you. Zaslow,
No, he's right.
Roy may one day have his name on the press box because he's been a long time credentialed, as he's mentioned, media member of the Florida Panthers. One of the longest credentialed, I might add.
Well, might end today.
But clearly biased. Like you guys caught him. That was cold and dirty. You caught him in the second round of the playoffs. He's been shitting himself all weekend. Billy, you weren't paying attention to the Panthers,
Falsehood.
and you caught him off guard, and you got him to admit something
It's called
he would never
journalism,
admit.
friend. Want to try it on for size?
Wow. I would like Pablo Torre too. Did he get too busy? I was told he was going to be here in moments, and then
He might actually have been too busy.
Yeah, this is
is it
Pablo's
because he's
world.
winning
We're
too
all
many
just living in it.
Peabody's? He's winning too many Peabody's.
Well, he's being nominated.
He got delayed. He will be here at 11:15.
Okay, because he's
Gee,
got
we'll
the
be
big
done by
story.
Do you think he's depressed at all the attention that this is getting? Like, it's
No,
it's
absolutely not.
He likes attention, right? But he's like, I do good work, and like the thing that's like resonating.
Is that your impression?
No, I have an impression of Pablo. I do good work.
That was good.
Still smiling.
Here's the thing.
I just want horse.
That was pitch perfect from the last time, by the way.
I just want horse.
I couldn't tell if it was you or the clip.
Yeah, me too.
Really? You guys didn't? You guys couldn't tell? I did it too accurately. It was too authentic, my limited fake Jokic. I just want horse. I sound like I'm about to start sobbing.
So does he.
Well, he'd like to stop carrying them.
Horses?
I just want horse. He's looking at Chet Holmgren, and he's like, really? I mean, what is this? What is all of this?
You know, Lawson, his arm's always bleeding, is his nose is always running.
Really?
Yeah. He's constantly doing, blowing his nose. It's kind of gross watching him.
He's tired.
Do you think he could rock a pony to sleep, right? Like very easily. If he wanted to, like a baby. You cradle it and
newborn,
rock it. Yeah.
Does Clint Hurdle look like the dead body hanging outside of a town with no name with a sign attached to him that reads, "No visitors"?
He does look like that. He does.
Does Clint Hurdle look like a high school football coach named Honeycutt who, after 10 losing seasons, coaches a group of misfits into the championship game only to lose on the last play?
It does look like a coach named Honeycutt.
Does he look like a tin of pine tar that has come to life?
I can see that, like via Pixar. I can see that.
Does he look like the guy at a golf outing wearing a mock
Yes.
turtleneck who cracks open a beer on the first tee, slurps the froth, and exclaims, "It's 5 o'clock somewhere," just after he makes final adjustments to his tennis elbow brace?
You one that looks like 21-0.
Get me all of the Clint Hurdles. Send our advanced scouts wherever in the universe they have to go to find me more Clint Hurdles. Please get Clint Hurdle back in the game. I can't believe how bad the Rockies are. That's not there. I mean, you can make the argument that through 39 games, there has never been in the history of our most historic sport something this rancid.
Bud Black has been in our baseball lives for most of our time here on Earth. If I assembled Bud Black lookalikes and I lined them against the wall,
I imagine khaki pants.
Would
like a
you be
short
able
sleeve
to actually
button-up.
identify the real Bud Black?